They have him pinned to the ground, barking in insane order. Hurry up and steal the curse off Lord Armor. Move it, failure. And the young man being held down just answers flat and tired, I'll steal it now. His name is Crash Valhim, a self-described failure born into the strongest bloodline. His one skill is reaching into a person and pulling a curse right off them. They call it Blackhood. We cut to who he did this for, Lord Arthur, in dark armor, at the front of the heroes who were supposed to be the world's answer to an invasion, tearing everything apart. Sigrun steps up with a long jeweled sword and calls everyone over, Sigrun, Abella, and Mary. Then Arthur, horned and yelling, clutches his own chest. The world's hope is extinguished. I'm ending this. Crash loses it, face a wreck, blood around one ruined eye, and screams at Arthur not to give up. But the heroes turn on him. Silence. Crash. Arthur did everything he could. You're trash who can only steal things. That's Sigrun Ephania, third princess of the Ephania Empire, and she says he's the one giving up here. Abella cuts in from the other side. How dare you say that to your savior? Let me refresh your memory. She reminds him he once begged and wailed for someone to steal that curse, the one that left him unable to use magic without his voice. Then it gets uglier. Next to him, she says, is the Empire's strongest spear, a brainless fool who acts without thinking, and the princess, the one who calls her savior trash after he sacrificed his own eyes for them. That's Mary Diana. Crash fires back. All this time he's been cleaning up after these people, the ones who bullied him relentlessly for being a useless failure, while they were the chosen Azure generation who'd save the world. A blonde woman reaches out to a man kneeling on the floor. You could have saved the world, she says. She decided to stay by his side, so why give up now, and what was it all for, Arthur? And another woman looks down at him and says it plain. This world is already finished. So he's starting over from the beginning, and now he figures he can finally tell them. He'll start again with these three, he says, carrying the accumulated experience and memories forward to raise the odds of stopping the destruction next time. And a smiling figure with red eyes throws up a peace sign and pokes at it. Sure, those skills are strong, practically unbreakable, but even if you rewind time, what's the point of bringing that version of you back? Then comes the line that lands hardest. See you again, Crash. Don't worry. And the small figure on the ground realizes it. Arthur planned to use him and throw him away from the very start, like a disposable item, and deep down he'd known it all along. He runs at them anyway, three figures charging a giant glowing hand, screaming, "Take me with you, you bastard!" His mind is fading as the curses he's absorbed take their toll. His life will end before this world does, so he plays his last card. Blackhood doesn't only steal curses, he says, it works on skills too. He's never tried it on Arthur, since skills don't peel off as easy as curses, but it's worth a shot. Arthur, caught in a burst of swirling purple energy, manages only a startled huh before it hits. Each time before, Crash says you left behind the used-up version of me, but this time you're the one being left behind. A white-haired figure clutches his head in the debris, gasping that Crash still hasn't given up, that he's finally lost his mind. A woman screams, and everything goes white. And then it's quiet. A door swings open onto sunlight. He looks around and knows it, the house he lived in when he was little. Crash Valhim, age 15. He's back at the very beginning. A humanoid monster with sharp claws looses a blast of green energy across a battlefield of smoke and debris. This, the page says, is the world erosion when it hits. The environment itself changes, and erosion species invade from other worlds. Some of them look almost human. Our world is slowly being eroded by another. The ones who stand against it are called into combat. Report to the knights, someone shouts. It's an invader, run. A blonde man grapples with a pink-haired woman, while a shadowy figure watches and golden projectiles fly. And in the middle of it, a dark-haired young man holds up his bloody hand, eyes pained, a masked figure behind him. He was the Azure generation, a body that could only seal away curses, respected at first, then betrayed by his own companions. This is episode 2. Then we're somewhere quiet. A lavish room of dark wood and blue draped windows. This is Blue Pine Hall where Crash stayed as a child. It's warm now, he notes, not enough to make him sweat. And just moments ago, as a last gamble, he'd used black, hood on Arthur. We flash to what that meant. Crash, an unsettling grin on his face, pulling dark purple energy from his hands. Black hood, he explains, is what people think of as stealing, and to steal a target, you have to meet its conditions. The more valuable the thing, the more conditions there are, and the price climbs with it. A girl with a blonde braid grins, holding a lock on a long chain. That's the shape of the skill. The higher the value, the heavier the lock, the harder it is to break. So the question hangs, what was worth all that? The answer is a betrayal. A brown-haired young man sits with his hands clasped, staring down. Arthur, the one they called the Hero King, wanted to discard his regression skill rather than let Crash take it, because he knew Crash would steal it with Black Hood the moment he could. So Arthur left him behind. Surrounded by 3 women in dark clothing, he had those 3 inherit their memories and tried to regress together, leaving Crash out, stranded in a dying world on the brink of destruction. But Crash took it anyway. A woman kneels beside a man on the ground, another holding him from behind, under a dark sky and a huge light. Crash stole the very skill Arthur so desperately wanted to throw away. He should be thanking me. Crash thinks, never caring about his companions, always leaving me out. Serves you right. And then he's back in Blue Pine Hall, standing at a tall glass door, white brick walls climbing with vines and roses. Being here means it's right after the proving ceremony. Before leaving his room, he'd checked his reflection, short, moderately muscular, the result of swinging his sword every single day. His age, he figures, is around 10. This is the Valheim family's proving ceremony. A figure in a dark coat stands at the gate of an ornate building, a crest of an eagle holding 2 swords above. The direct descendants were always valued by the Valheim family, but Crash was the exception. Blue Pine Hall was where the family's failings were sent, a place to prove your own abilities. Now he reaches out from a doorway, green plants around him. The words drip, drip in the air. He admits it, he's the biggest failure in the family. Don't be a coward, he tells himself. Could I possibly stop it? And the first step to preventing destruction is right here. An older man in a black suit and glasses turns to him. Young master, he asks, what are you doing in a place like this? He's still alive at this point, Crash notes. This is Ariad, the only butler of Blue Pine Hall. Yes, young master, the butler says as they embrace, both smiling, a bright glow around them. Ariad, he thinks, the very person who imprisoned me. An old man is on his knees, biting into a severed hand, blood running from his mouth, sobbing the same words over and over. What have I done? I'm so sorry, young Master Crash. This is Ariad, and the night before he was ordered to carry out an assassination. He couldn't do it, so when the poison was set out, Ariad ate it himself instead, unable to bear the guilt. Before we get to why, back up. 2 men watch something white come down at them, shock and fear on their faces, talking about a girl. The knights can't even lay a finger on her, they say, and she's only 15. The title Sword Saint isn't just for show. That's why the family head's expectations for her run so high. She's a once-in-a-generation prodigy born from new blood, and thanks to her the Valheim family won't go extinct. In that same house, a young man slaps another man clean across the face. An older man with graying hair stands before an ornate painting, talking low and careful. Young Master Crash is someone he raised like his own son. And Ariad, his treatment, his money problems, all of that got resolved, didn't it? Aren't you also having trouble? Nearby, a silver-haired young man clutches his chest in shock as a man in glasses looks on. Are you saying you'll go through with it? The body, strengthening arts, the order? That's the order that broke Ariad assassination the day before the regression. Which brings us back to the boy at the center of it. Crash. The failure of the family stands close to a tall, stern old man and stops pretending. Are you going to play dumb? You are going to sacrifice me, a failure to save yourselves from danger. If you keep playing dumb, he says, I can't help it. And here's the twist he lands: if I hadn't been a failure from the start, you'd never have been given such orders in the first place. The old man recoils. Young Master Crash has changed, he thinks, completely. Instead of shouting or crying, Crash just says, come with me. He points Ariod at a blank stretch of wall. A Valheim butler should find this easy, Ariod. Cut this wall. Ariod draws a large sword, walks up to the stone, and cuts. Well done, there's a passage here. What a clean cut, Crash notes, eyeing the line the blade left. He's different from before. They go through and the passage ends at chains. You can't cut these chains, Ariod warns. Shall I cut them too? No, Crash handles this one himself, testing his strength against a heavy golden chain locked to his wrist. It bites in and draws blood, and he half smiles through it, brings back memories. His skills haven't gotten rusty either. This is what the contract with a lord bought him, the reason a discarded young master changed overnight. He shares the same bloodline as the greatest genius Valheim ever produced, so everyone assumes he must have obtained a good skill. What he actually obtained is the regression skill, the power that let him come back and do all of this a second time, knowing every order in advance. Finished, he says, and I won't tell anyone. The daughter can wait. I'll deal with your daughter later, Crash tells them. Right now, the secret library takes priority, so do as you please. His hands throw a glowing orange blast into a room full of dusty bookshelves, and his hair stands on end. He's taken countless curses from world erosion, but this is different. There's no mistake. His grimoire is here. Blue Pine Hall's secret library. Found it. This place used to be open to anyone, until one single person turned it into a secret, the worst failure in Valheim history, and the grimoire that failure left behind, holding techniques and memories for reaching a state of mastery. Then the air splits. A young woman in a purple outfit lands, radiating light, and she is furious. Sorry for being late, ancestors, it's mine, the failure who came back, and the family's shining prodigy, both reaching for the same prize. He's the strongest person in Valheim history, and also the worst failure it ever produced. That's Demaris Valheim. At the height of his power, some of the world's strongest warriors came to challenge him, and he unleashed a blast of energy that scattered them like shadows. Nobody could stop him. So how did a man like that end up ruined? Crash goes digging for the answer, and half the book that holds it is already burned away. What he pieces together is this: Demaris possessed an insane secret technique. He took world erosion itself into his own body. When the curses hit him, he endured by offsetting them with other curses, but no one could stop the rampage inside him, and in the end he lost his mind to it. That's the loophole Crash is chasing. Beside him, a servant lays it out plainly: young Master Crash, if you steal a curse that controls the rampage and offset it, then you can become strong too. And from today on, Crash gives an order: don't let anyone enter the hall. The family doesn't take that well. To them, Crash is still trash they can't keep around, a half-wit, a failure. One of them refuses Lord Varokin's proposal on his behalf and calls it an order. And when Crash pushes back, the answer is a snarl: you fool. Then Lord Varokin issues a command of his own: go to the Blue Pine Hall where Crash is right now. But the servants come back with a problem: they can't enter. And that's the moment it lands. Crash won't even let the head of the family through. He's sealed the entrance and won't let a single person past it, not even the family head. Arrogant, they call it, but something in him has clearly changed. He knows exactly how far he has to climb. In Valheim, there are several realms in Aura Mastery, all the way up to Aura Emperor, and even that unprecedented monster has only just reached the realm of Ordinary. Meanwhile, Charlotte, who's only 2 years older than him, is almost an Aura Master already. Her talent is absurdly overwhelming, the kind that draws the line between ordinary people and geniuses. But Crash reminds himself that was before. Before the regression, they couldn't even see Aura because of the curses. Now it's different. He won't know unless he tries, right? Even if he can't compare to Charlotte, He can grow on the wreckage left behind by failures like them. No need to lament, he can become much stronger. Later, a servant waiting for him congratulates him on entering the expert realm and mentions his fiancée, Lady Bianca Hardenhearts. Crash brushes it off. Don't make a fuss over something like that, he says. But the name Bianca is exactly what he needed. Because Bianca is the youngest daughter of a martial house, the family that defeated one of the 10 strongest under heaven and earned the name White Demon. Before she was even born, her mother was afflicted by a world erosion. Born in exchange for her mother's life, Bianca was treated coldly, cursed from birth with something called Snowdoll, a curse so deep it reached her soul and left her emotionless, one that can't be lifted even by curse breakers. Tragic for her, and the exact thing Crash is looking for. Because Snowdoll is the curse needed to control extreme blood immersion's rampage. So the plan is simple and cold. He'll prepare her arrival immediately and use a political marriage to get close enough to steal Bianca's curse. Show her in and have her wait inside. For just a second, a thought slips through. Did Bianca hate me? Then he lets it go. And that's where it leaves us. Bianca herself, white hair tied with blue ribbons and snowflakes, hands clasped, head bowed, standing alone. She has no idea. The target is chosen. 5 months ago, a young man shoves a woman away hard enough to send her stumbling into scattered debris, and she throws his own words back at him. You only care about power. The woman is Bianca Hardenhearts, and the way people talk to her says everything. Even if you lack emotions, they tell her, you can still tell right from wrong. At least you've got a pretty face, and that face is the whole point her failing family needs a marriage to survive. The fate of the Hardenhearts family rests on your shoulders, my dear daughter, so Bianca is handed into a political engagement she never asked for. We catch her over tea, and even that carries a jab. They call her Miss Cat's Tongue, because she can't stand anything too hot. The weather's nice, she offers. Shall we take a walk in the garden? There should be plenty of flowers you don't usually get to see. The man she's engaged to is Crash, and he's laying it on thick. We're engaged after all, he says. We should spend time together. He's even had macadamia cookies set out in the garden. But something's off, and Bianca feels it. When we met before, she says, your eyes were so sharp, you seem like a completely different person now. Out in the garden, she says it plainly. Peaceful, isn't it? Really, Crash. Do I seem that different from before? He plays it smooth, but admits he can't remember how he used to act around her, so for now, just play it smoothly. There's one thing he does remember, though. When she nearly trips on the stairs and turns that look on him, it's the exact expression she wore the day she died right in front of him. Then Crash comes clean partway. Recently, he tells her, I formed a contract with a god. So that's why your personality changed, she realizes. And on that note, I have a proposal for you. Bianca's eyes go wide. Wait, is this about breaking the engagement? Not the proposal she's bracing for. What Crash says is blunt, I want your Snowdoll curse. Because Bianca isn't just cold, she's cursed. He means to take that curse onto himself, even if it erases his own emotions entirely. A curse not even the best curse breakers could lift, and he knows it. Yeah, he tells her, I need to use that curse. Bianca pushes back. Those moments are the dangerous ones, she warns, right on the edge of collapse. When someone reaches their mental limit, their mind breaks. You don't need a curse, she says, you just need to control your emotions. It's okay, Crash. You can overcome this. But he won't give it up. He can probably get his father to let him move nearby, he says. Maybe you're right, but I can't abandon someone standing on the edge. But Bianca just stares, hearts practically floating over the moment. Wait, don't you dislike me? And Crash clocks it. She's misunderstanding something big here. Alone with his thoughts, he sizes up the prize. Bianca's had this curse so long it's basically part of her body, which makes it valuable beyond measure. And then it happens. Words only he can see ignite in the air. Unlock condition generation. Become Bianca's friend. He grins. Get the snow doll, unlock the curse. Stop her from becoming the white demon. 2 birds, 1 stone. Trouble is, Bianca has no emotions and shows interest in nothing, so the move is simple: keep her close and wait for a chance to unlock it. I'll confirm with my father, he decides, and come again soon. Things are about to get busy. She won't be back for a month, so he plans to read up on everything he can before then, starting the next day at Blue Pine Hall. And when the day comes, a young woman in a white dress walks up the path toward him, light glowing faintly at her feet, and says the words that seal the plan. Please, take care of me. Bianca, sleeping here again, the silver-haired boy blurts it out, waving her off. That's my line, he tells her. If someone sees this, they'll get the wrong idea. Good morning, Crash, she answers, calm as anything. But why are you even here? Because starting today, Crash is living at the Blue Pine Hall. It's been a while since he moved in, and he still looks sheepish, sweating. Head down. Please take care of me, he says. Come to think of it, you've already moved in. Yes, it wasn't a problem, he says. His family gave permission quickly. What he really means is she okay being apart from her family? The answer is strange because she has no emotions. Her attachment to family is weak. Leaving them cost her nothing. The year's almost over, already winter, and one name is on his mind: Lahelny Academy, which has produced countless members of the Azure generation, many with cheat, level skills. It takes students between 15 and 20, and its opening is coming. That's the plan. Once he enrolls, he'll steal one, and he needs to steal Bianca's curse soon. He knows everyone's weaknesses better than anyone, so their skills come easily. He's got about a year. He turns 14 next year, and he needs to be strong enough to surpass this wall. Ever since summer, he's been training, learning to use extreme blood immersion, and Bianca keeps waiting for him. Have you been waiting for me again? He asks. Want to go out and have some fun? I can't leave you by yourself, Crash, she says, arms crossed, following him around like a baby bird. Then Ariod brings news an invitation has arrived from the Star Sanctuary. Crash remembers now. Thanks for the reminder, Ariod. It's a formal gathering held once a year for the Starin Kingdom's young nobles, and almost everyone attends. Before the regression, he shut himself up in the Blue Pine Hall, so his memories of it are fuzzy. And skipping it has a cost. The people there will talk, and who knows what they'll say about you too, Ariod warns. Understood, Crash decides. Tell them I'll attend. Bianca chimes in right away. I'll go too. With you, Crash. Because something has shifted in her. No one in her family ever treated her this gently. And these past months, Crash has been unreasonably kind. Don't worry, she tells him. I'm not going anywhere. What do you want for breakfast? He's been so kind, she admits. She can barely remember their terrible first meeting. I don't dislike Crash anymore. I'll go with you. Real warmth, aimed at the boy who moved in to steal her curse. So they go, and the sanctuary is exactly the crowd he expected. Nobles here are respected because they fight world poison in place of common people, the future of Starizon. And yet these fools don't even train, Crash notes. They just party all night and book out the whole place. The whispers start fast. Looks like someone interesting showed up, Lady Bianca, and beside her, Crash, the failed youngest son of the Valheim family. Don't stare too much, one laughs, or you'll get cursed. He's surrounded by fake nobles, the engagement passed around as gossip, her curse called a waste of a death sentence. But 3 real players take an interest in him, the 3 who would later be called the Staron Triad, monsters of the coming generation. He knows them: Anix Greiser, the Wood Archer, Balak Hokma, the Tiger Youth. Not one of them ever beat him. The insults land on Bianca too. Doesn't it bother you, someone asks, you're insulted as well? I don't, he says, but he's worrying about her. It was boring, she shrugs. I'm never going again. So who's showing up? The crowd wonders. Don't tell me he's a no-show. Speak of the devil. The doors swing open on a figure in a dark purple robe, and a voice booms out, "Hello, everyone!" Lord Darling Dandelion has arrived, the flashy alchemist, the strangest of all eccentrics. A whole hall of the future's greatest talents, and every skill in it is something Crash can steal. A man covered head to toe in an erosion. Type Curse throws his arms around Crash, grinning, and offers to combine this curse with that one. Hey, want to be my test subject? I'll cure you. Whatever left him in this state, he's cheerful about all of it. Crash barely has the strength to answer, so the man decides he'll just start without asking. This is the alchemy lord Darling Danferlion, and Crash is remembering the first time he met him. He gets out a weak stop, but there's no stopping this. Back at the event, everyone wonders if Darling showed up late, though no way he'd miss a gathering of his peers. Crash runs across the floor clutching a bouquet, and he's not alone. The whole crowd rushes around with flowers, girls screaming that Lord Darling looks amazing as always. Darling turns it on Crash. Are you captivated by how good-looking I am, he asks, or do you need something from me? People murmur that Crash looks familiar. Someone even asks if he's Charlotte's little brother. Then the name lands Crash Wilhelm. So, Crash, how have you been? He's heard Crash has been poking around the World Invaders, quite the busy one. And since Crash caught his interest, he'd better be ready for the consequences. A cocky kid, he calls him, telling him not to interrupt. Crash points out the obvious. Does age even matter? He's got the mind of an academy graduate adult. You look young, Darling says, but your attitude says otherwise. Crash cuts to it. He doesn't have much time. Here, take this. Then Darling swings a sword at him. What the hell are you doing, Crash says, blocking the blade. Weren't you the one who wanted to talk? Of course Darling grins. First he tests Crash's skills. What a pain, Crash mutters, but he'll listen. Darling talks as they fight. He heard Crash was a talentless failure, great technique, wrong target. So Crash lays out his offer. His research on curse neutralization could help. And what do you know about alchemy? Darling shoots back. That makes you think you can stand against me? You have to prove that theory, Crash presses. Darling's working on neutralizing world erosion curses that even curse breakers can't undo, using other curses to cancel them out, all to become a first-rank alchemist, and Crash has exactly the tool for it. That's when it clicks. This is perfect, Crash says, so what's his price? If what he says is true, he was never some failure. He's got something that steals curses, so he'll help with the research. Darling stares, disbelieving this failure has that kind of aura. Crash spells out the deal. He'll be obtaining several curses going forward because stealing skills alone isn't enough. What? Darling teases. You want me to be your boyfriend? No, Crash needs a potion that can suppress the curses he collects, and brewing is Darling's specialty. And is Crash enrolling in the newly established Lake Academy? Of course he is. There's just one more thing. Darling's game, and if it involves curses, even better, he'll brew whatever Crash needs. But Crash has another favor. The discoloration disease, right, the one that turns your skin bluish, black before it kills you. He knows what incurable means, and even Darling can't pull that off. Now Crash is hitting his pride. When it's ready, send it to the Blue Pine Hall. Reaching toward him, Darling insists he'll deliver it himself. What are you even talking about, Crash says. Ah, you're too young to get it then. Why mention the empty seat beside you and ask about a boyfriend? You like my sister, don't you? Crash fires back. Of course, Darling says. He adores Charlotte, but he swings both ways. He likes men. Hey, wait, my future boyfriend, come back. Darling calls after him. Ah, right. Crash remembers. He was always like that. Off he goes. Darling won't let go. Is Crash trying to drag off his romance by force? A blonde girl in a white dress plants herself in his path, energy pouring off her hands as she shoves him back. And over the chaos, Crash finally snaps. What the hell do you think you're doing? A man is on the floor, cornered, and his excuse is that a royal command told him to do it. He says Lady Claudia, the second princess, ordered him to take the girl and that he was only following orders. But the person standing over him isn't buying it. The girl he tried to lay hands on by force is 12 years old. She's Bianca, the youngest daughter of a noble family from the kingdom of Steron. A royal command. He keeps insisting, like the words make it clean. They don't. And the more he talks, the uglier the story gets. This all traces back to Annex, a man who knew he could never beat Charlotte on his own. So he set his sights on someone else instead. What he felt for Charlotte was a twisted mix of hate and admiration. And it finally drove him mad. He used to obsessively chase after her. And now he's dragged Bianca into it too, specifically summoning her to bait out the real target, Crash. The man on the floor is falling apart, and the questions coming at him are simple ones he can't answer. He was supposed to leave before Crash arrived, but he didn't. Why didn't you follow her out? Why did you refuse to go? He can only sit there, stunned, muttering that his instincts really are unbelievable. And Bianca, standing close, answers when her name is called. Yes, Crash. Then Crash reaches the door. Word had gone ahead. Anix said that if Crash showed up, let him through. Good thing, too, because waiting on the other side is Balak Hogma, the Tiger Youth. He's a talented dual sword fighter, and nobody ever knows what he's thinking. He lights up the moment he sees Crash. Hey, you came. I've been curious about you. Crash isn't here for him. I came to see Anix. Balak doesn't much care. Because Balak's been sizing him up. His combat intuition is sharp, hard to predict his next attack, so he's strong even among experts. People say he lasted longer against Charlotte than Anix did. His aura mastery a step above the rest. There's just one problem fighting his band here at the Star Sanctuary. Balak decides he doesn't care about that either, and the two of them go at it anyway. The fight erupts. Energy blows out across the hall, Balak's aura radiating off him in waves, and for a moment it looks like the bigger man has it. He grabs Crash and locks him in his grip. But it doesn't last. Balak's the one asking for mercy first. Can I grab my weapon this time? And Crash, still standing, throws it back at him. You're the one who challenged me first. More importantly, can you even stand? Balak just laughs it off. You really don't hold back, Crash. Because the failure everyone whispered about just beat the Tiger Youth. Afterward, under a huge crescent moon with leaves scattered around them, the how comes out. Balak had tried a reliable move, tried to make Crash stand where he could target him, and it didn't work. Crash survived it thanks to countless near-death battles, and the one secret technique he managed to save, a Valheim technique, that's the only thing keeping him alive. Let's head inside, he says, before the Blue Pine Hall. And then Crash is smiling, wide, teeth showing, one eye lost in shadow. Strange, exactly like the rumors said. Someone had wondered aloud whether those rumors were false, the ones about him being a failure. Crash gives them the answer himself, his hand rising toward his collar. If it's the rumor about him being a failure, then after today, after he beats them, those rumors are going to change. Anix leans against something with a slight smirk and lays it all out. Crash only stayed close to him because Crash was useful. They went through the academy and aced it side by side, but the rumor about Crash being a failure is about to change, because if Anix beats him today, everything shifts. That's the reason Anix ever bothered to get to know him well. The scene turns red and Crash is shouting, held by someone out of frame. Onyx keeps talking. If this comes out, he'd lose his standing in the Azure generation. It would look like his fault they walked into a trap. But if he's the only survivor, no one would ever know. That was the reason he found Crash useful in the first place. His name gets thrown out across the noise. Crash. Anix leans back with a closed-eye smile, sparks flying above him. If this comes out, he says, Crash gets expelled, but everyone hates Crash anyway, so it'll blow over quickly. The whole thing will just fade away, and Crash finally snaps back, don't screw with him. Have you ever actually thought of me as a friend? Anix doesn't let it land, like hell he'll let that happen. Then Anix touches his chin, looking off to the side and twists the knife. This whole thing between them is over once Charlotte's married anyway. That's why he can't stand Crash. Crash has no skill, But he's always quick to jump on people's words, always hanging around to get close to Charlotte. He's sure she'll have a beautiful ceremony, and Crash just answers quietly, "Yeah, maybe it's better that way." Annex smiles menacingly, holding a glowing object, and asks the real question. Is this how it ends? Even if it feels like a funeral to Crash. It cuts deeper still. After everything, Annex's blood boils because Crash even talks and looks like his sister. "You think I'm like her, Crash? Don't you dare say my sister's name so casually?" They look alike, and Nix admits, but when it comes to temperament, pick a fight with him and you'll see the difference. Purple energy swirls around him as he twists into action. He calls up the Greiser family's secret technique, Wood Heaven style, and sneers as he moves, still troublesome as ever. "Is that all you've got? You might as well use a weapon." Crash catches the word and throws it right back. "Use a weapon, huh? Fine. Then he'll fight Annex using his plants." A swirling yellow attack tears out amid the green foliage. "Then try blocking this next strike with one of those branches," Crash says. Annex, holding a wooden staff, dodges fast. Crash pushes it. "You're my natural enemy, and I've seen your regression, so I know exactly what you'll do." Annex smiles mischievously and asks if Crash is really sure he wants to push his luck like this. Then he calls the technique by name, Wooden Titan, 5th form. And still he can't stop needling, still thinking about Charlotte. Crash, a massive tree like monster looms up, about to strike. The crowd panics. Lord Annex, "No, stop! If that hits Crash directly, you'll kill him." But here's what they don't know. Crash wasn't talented, just an ordinary man who practiced endlessly. In the secret library of Blue Pine Hall, he'd found one of the thinnest grimoires, written by an ancestor who only ever swung his sword. It was short, just notes about swinging a sword. Pushed to that edge time and again by his own curses, Crash finally understood the ancestor's secret. The sword becomes me. I become the sword. Blue energy trails off his staff as the leaves scatter. The reaction hits home. A man with long dark hair stares forward, shocked, while a white-haired woman beside him just looks on, bored. The sword profound, and then the last panel. Annex is pinned down, in pain, a red object descending toward him, everything he threw turned back on him. Crash leans in and says it flat, "Don't ever get cocky with me again." He's flat on his back by the stone steps, barely able to move, a line of shadowy figures closing in behind him. This is Crash. He just went all out with one last strike, and now he can't even speak, let alone stand. The white-haired girl hauls him backward while a third person bolts the other way. Crash admits it out loud. He'd meant to hold back a little at the end, just to make it easier to steal the man's skill. That was the whole idea. He overdid it. Up above, a young man with dark, intense eyes looks down on the two figures below and says he's got a bad feeling, like Crash is planning something. Word's already spreading. Someone warns him not to do anything reckless before helping with the research, then calls up at the boy, is he bold or just plain reckless? Then we're indoors. Stone fragments scattered on the floor, and Crash is finally recovering from the damage of that sword. He knows how close it was. If he'd kept swinging non-stop to corner his opponent, he'd have ended up worse off than the man he beat. He clutches a dagger, wincing, gripping his own head, and talks through his skill, the kind that lets you completely crush your opponent in a fight. That was exactly what he'd planned to use on Annex. Stealing a skill is one thing, holding it is another. A man in a fur-trimmed cloak stands facing a bright light, a blonde woman beside him, and the read is simple: the big brother's patience has finally run out. Crash has already refused his messages twice. No helping it now. Leave him in. Let him devote himself to training. His skill recovery will take time. As you wish, Lord Crash. Crash lies wrecked on the floor, and the white-haired girl in the horned headdress stands over him with a cup. Crash, here's some water. You smell sweaty. He fires back, flustered. Giving orders to your fiancé now? Then, thanks. She tells him to keep some distance and asks what's wrong. The brother's still watching, eyes hard. Crash is soft already, he says. You think you can stop the world's destruction acting like this? Still, that stubbornness is part of her strength, he admits. And to Crash, half a threat you think you can get away from me? Crash looks up, caught off guard at the man in the white tank top nearby. Even heroes need breaks sometimes, the man says, with a jab that Crash used to avoid his eyes entirely. Not anymore. Then the taller man in the long dark cloak looks down at him. You'd better start preparing too, brother. He's heard the academy will accept students on exam results now, not status. And there it is. So the rumor that you beat Annex was true? Crash reads the tone instantly. This guy's mocking me. They're standing before a huge ornate building, and the words cut through the bubbles. To deliver an order. An order? Missions like this aren't even mandatory until they turn 15, but the brother came to hand one down anyway. And it lands. Crash is being sent to deal with an erosion event. He says it plainly. Sending a 13-year-old to one is absurd. He knows exactly what it is, a test to gauge his strength. Even if this is the family's trap, he'll find a way out. Fine, I'll go. The girl calls after him. Where are you going? His answer, don't follow me. She holds her book while he ruffles her hair, grinning wide. Well done, he tells her. She takes it calmly, throwing a cursed snow girl right back. Just don't faint again, he says. Then the last beat, Crash leaning against a pillar, watching the woman in the dark dress depart. I'll be back. And he goes. Two young men in dark blue jackets face off, and the talk is all business. The purification team's orders are simple. Begin work as soon as the core creature is neutralized. What they're standing over is a swamp, a phenomenon where our world gets literally invaded by another one. They say it's a rank 3, and at that level things turn extreme fast. One of them isn't worried about experience. Who do you think you're talking to? Verokin might look easy to write off, but he's actually an advanced expert, and an intermediate-level night squad should handle a swamp like this. Rank 3 or not, someone here should take the core creature down easily. Off to the side, a man named Crash stands quiet in a black mask, surrounded by uniformed men who keep their eyes low. Then it's on. A young man in a blue jacket and mask draws a sword and a dagger against a group of shadowy figures. These are the erosion beasts, and something's deeply wrong with them. Most don't even have heads. A soldier calls out to look over there, aura flaring around his whole body, and warns of a temporary rampage on the way. And the one staying calm is Crash. He admits it's odd he even got this close to one, and he's only 13. Around him, the knights can't hide their disbelief. How can a failure stand this calmly, and how is he the one handing advice to the knights? They call him Lord Crash even as they mutter it, while he clutches at his own face. He keeps turning one thought over, facing a large ornate sword held out toward him. What if he surpasses the very people looking down on him? Wouldn't that make him something other than the failure of Valheim? It's only a hypothetical, hanging in the air, with shadowy figures watching from behind. Back on the field, luck holds. There aren't any other monsters nearby, so it looks easier than they feared, and a heavy boot comes down as they push toward where the core creature waits, staying tight and letting the squad handle themselves. But for Crash, it isn't easy at all. He's mastering extreme blood immersion, trying to absorb the erosion energy, to take it in clearly, and it's easier said than done. He stumbles on the rocky ground and drops to his knees among the men in their long coats. One rushes over Crash. Are you all right? Tears streak his dirt-covered face as he holds a shaking hand up, sound rippling off it. A soldier says he's pushing too hard for his first time and offers to carry him. But Crash won't stop. He's betting his aura will eventually turn completely, creating colors that have never existed before. Then the light takes over. Bright energy pours off his whole body as he transforms, eyes shut, one arm raised. This is the secret teaching he's been holding back, a secret art an ancestor left behind, a grimoire tucked away inside the library. And even though nobody could read those grimoires, Crash is putting it to use right now. The change holds. A blue aura wraps around him in jagged blades of energy, and he isn't covered completely in bandages anymore. Horns surface as the swirling blue energy settles, a long weapon at his side, and he looks up, caught off guard by his own strength. He knows exactly what it costs. It's only a temporary solution. As long as he keeps absorbing the energy of erosion, rampage can happen at any time. The storm around him is fading, which means he still needs Bianca's Snowdoll curse to see this through. But even if only for a moment, he overcame it. And then a man in a red hood freezes, eyes squeezed shut, and the shout goes up. It's here. Nearby, a fighter in a bird like mask jerks and stares off to the side, startled because whatever they came to neutralize has finally arrived, and they're left staring it down. Prepare for battle. Ignis steps forward, red hair blazing, orange fur trim flaring, standing in the middle of his own flames. Then he's looking down at a beaten man on the ground and sneering that he doesn't have time to waste on trash like this. A voice at his side gushes over him. That skill of his burning everything to ash is as spectacular as it is devastating. And Ignis lets it slip. This is the same skill that once burned his own arm, the Empire's prize. Now, he says, you can see the difference in our power. Nearby, a young man with brown hair is yelling, clutching a small gray object while red symbols rain down around him. And it's not going well for the newcomers. One of them gets tackled flat by a huge purple, clawed monster, another one looming right behind it. The word going around is blunt rookies like them can't do this. Even the serious fighters are struggling against that army of monsters. Retreat before it's too late. Someone calls out to hold the line. Don't give the creature an opening. Follow Lord Verokin's lead, insisting the thing can't even strike back. But up on a jagged rock, a young man sits watching two shadowy figures below, and the fear leaks through someone's gone. Don't tell me he's dead. Is Crash seeing all of this? Then they name the real problem. If this keeps up, they'll have to kill the 1,000-faced demon before it gets worse. A pale-faced thing with huge black eyes and dark lines down its cheeks, a white light pouring from its chest. This is bad, really bad. That's not normal. What is this impossible pressure? So they throw everything at it. Blades and strikes come in from every side, and it does nothing. Our strikes aren't working. One fighter, sweat pouring down his face, starts laughing like something's cracked in him. You called yourselves knights and you crumble at something like this? Then the disturbance hits, the 1,000-faced demon's curse. What's happening now? And the curse turns on them. A robed figure stands in the fire with a shadowy, glowing-eyed monster looming behind, and the words break out of him, "It's killing me!" Bad! It gets worse. A monstrous purple-veined face roars, hands raised in swirling purple energy, and the boy on the ground screams the only question left, "Why is this happening to me?" Die, it tells him. A man in a helmet and uniform struggles against something off. Panel as rain pours down and the demon spits it plain. That's why you'll die like the failure you are. No. But then, in the heavy rain, a battered man lies cut and bruised on the ground, and a large, shadowy figure looms over him, protectively this time. Crash, brother awake. You survived too. The one they'd written off didn't die in the dark after all. He waves off the help. I can walk on my own now, even as he drags himself forward through the rain, gripping a heavy sword, the demon's gaze still out there, still near. He was nearly swallowed by the swamp demon's attack, but he dodged it. And he's got something else, actually. He says, I have an ultimate technique, Charlotte's secret art, the one lady Charlotte taught him. It's the reason he could fight evenly. An armored figure stands behind him. Doubtful. You really think that technique can beat the 1,000-faced demon? Crash doesn't flinch. If I'm going to be lost anyway, I'd rather try. Then he turns, black coat, sword up, facing a huge furry horned creature with its claws already out. Don't worry, he says. I won't fail. Two young men are kneeling in a downpour, cradling a small dark creature between them. and one says the thing you never want to hear before a fight: the thousand-faced demon is approaching. "Brother, are you ready with Ignis?" the other asks. A nod. "Then let's begin." Rain runs off their matching blue jackets as they get set. One of them stands holding a large sword already pouring out a bright blue aura, sparks scattering into the rain around the blade. It's enough to stop the watchers cold. What? Unbelievable focus. Someone breathes. Beside a campfire spitting orange flames through the rain, the mood turns to disbelief. This is a sword no one has ever mastered, no matter how hard they trained, and here he is wielding it like it's nothing. The brother, Verokin, is asked to please use it. So he steps up holding a sword now engulfed in flames, facing his distressed companion through the rain, and there's no more time to argue. That sword, they realize, might be the one thing that can actually slay the thousand-faced demon, a blade said to be stronger than time itself. Verokin sets his shoulders. His companion protests one more time, and then he swings it. The sword erupts in a fiery explosion, red impact symbols bursting across the whole scene as he cuts loose. When the smoke clears, the sky above is bright and full of light. "It's done," a voice says. But then, from somewhere close, another voice calls out a single word: "Brother." Something in that call doesn't sound like a victory. Because the fight isn't clean after all. Verokin stands in the middle of chaotic orange and purple energy blasts, frustrated, facing a huge dark monster that won't stay down. "Thanks, Verokin," his companion says, but the opponent is collapsing back harder than before, worse than they believed. Verokin talks about wanting to see this empire through alongside his companion and the others. Then a scream tears out. The monster, a dark brown mass shot through with fiery orange, rises up out of the rubble anyway. Now the wound. A man with a fresh gash on his neck is being held up by two figures, one of them gray, haired in a dark blue garment, and he's struggling in their grip. The moment lands hard, and someone acknowledges quietly that it's done. Cut to a very different scene, a huge ornate building surrounded by lush gardens, a fountain, flower beds. "Lord Verokin's entire unit," a voice says. If Verokin hadn't sacrificed himself, the survivor wouldn't have made it either. And there's the cold detail: because of what happened, the erosion has been reclassified as rank 5. Somebody asks what that even means. Inside a gold-trimmed hall hung with chandeliers, the accounting begins. Thanks to Verokin, the mission yielded big results. Lord Verokin died protecting his brother, and no one is to waste that noble sacrifice. Honor it. There's testimony to back it, so no one worries about suspicion. And through all this, they say, they can now partly control the resulting rampage. A man in a black suit reaches for a large ornate wooden door, faint glowing particles floating around him. The color of it all is ominous, but no one needs to know. The black class are far more powerful than anyone appreciated, and this was the result once it touched the essence of world erosion itself. The door opens onto someone already waiting. A gray-haired man in a black suit stumbles forward, and a woman with long dark hair facing away speaks first. "You came, Lord Crash. We've been expecting you." To think they'd meet again so soon, and she's already eyeing that black star hanging above him. Then Crash, dark spiky hair, green eyes, black jacket, points straight up and gives the thing above him its sentence. "I'll erase your immortality for you, tell me," he says, and it cuts right there. A man with spiky red hair lies chained to a dark floor, embers drifting around him. They call him the Undying of the Crimson Garden House. His true body was cursed. He can't die, and can barely hold his own regeneration together. That's why he commanded so many underlings in the first place. He couldn't even control his own servants without them. Off to the side, a tattooed young man grins as he talks it through. He hasn't forgotten how the Undying made every erosion zone rank up and put them all through hell. Fair enough, someone allows, even if you were reborn, that wouldn't change. It's a shame, but no more pointless fighting. Don't act all righteous now, though. Now we're on a young man staring hard at a golden key-shaped object floating before him, swirling with energy. He's unlocking something, and a word cuts through the room. Regressor. Are you the regressor? The one asking is a woman with long dark hair and red eyes, smiling so wide her face cracks down the middle. The moment a mere child dared propose a deal to someone like her, she says. He made it obvious. Only a regressor would ever dare that. He doesn't deny it. Crash just looks up at her, a tall woman with flowing red hair, the master of this place, and asks one flat question back. What's your condition? She's been raising the rank of every erosion here for centuries. She reminds him she could steal his soul without blinking. Then he moves, leaping forward, punching straight through shattered stone, and lays out the offer. Make me your apprentice. If it frees him from this immortality, he'll gladly sell his soul. That's the price he sets on the table. Cut to a little girl in a white dress, standing in a town square swallowed by a dark void, watching him walk away. A skill, he explains, is a unique power held by only one person in the world, so it's good to have you with me, Krim. And his plan is bigger than one deal, make the world vanish along with the erosion, then regress again on his own terms. For a breath, it almost feels like freedom. He can finally leave this place. He hasn't been here in years and can barely remember his parents' faces anymore. Then, right on cue, the summons lands. His mother requests his presence. We move to a figure with long white hair in a blue robe at a window. So his father wants to see him, except this wasn't an order from father himself. Maybe his mother heard the rumors that he'd changed after coming back from the Forbidden Domain. She never showed her face when he lived at Blue Pine Hall, and he can't afford to waste time on it now. He'll return when father actually summons him, otherwise he doesn't plan to go back. So for now, he heads home, finally free of that place, over a huge medieval city of red-roofed houses and boats in the harbor. Then a large, dark, furred monster with a single red eye hunches and moves fast. Someone teases that his crimson hue stands out a bit too much. What a charming personality he has. And it's dropped almost in passing. The real regressor is Arthur. This is only a borrowed body. Home at Blue Pine Hall, a gray-haired steward in a suit and glasses hurries in Ariod. Welcome back, Lord Crash. Has anything happened while you were away? Oh, and by the way, sir, a letter arrived from Master Darling. He explains it, careful. They say geniuses are often eccentric. Lady Bianca has been very worried about you, sir, ever since she heard you got caught in the erosion. When Darling Dandelion arrives, treat him with utmost care. He'll be your benefactor. And Crash looks up, startled as the steward's hand claps over his mouth. Then it lands, whatever's in that letter. Crash's eyes blow wide, purple light flaring off him. Bianca's friend, it says, has been released, and on that word, on his stunned face, the chapter cuts. We open on a horned man with dark, spiky hair standing in front of a young woman in a white hood who's clutching a book out among the buildings under an orange sky. He's introducing someone named Cream, whipped cream apparently, and the girl, Bianca, is flustered, insisting there's nothing on her face. It's an oddly soft moment for a first meeting. Then we cut indoors to a boy with spiky black hair and dark-rimmed glasses, holding up a small purple bottle and staring at it, completely baffled. It's transparent. Is he even supposed to drink this? The talk turns to the Empire and the Academy of Beastmen, and how if a Valheim gets involved, things will get messy. The plan's simple, they say. Just enter the tournament. Anyone can join. And of course, someone insists they've already got a plan of their own, as long as it isn't revealed. Next, a pale-haired figure in a white robe is hugging a dark, feathered bird-like creature with a glowing red eye and yellow markings down its wings. So Bianca likes animals, someone notes. Well, technically, he's her fiancé. They weren't like this before, he admits, and with the emotionless Bianca lover is about the closest word he's got. Quietly, though, he's wondering how you even unlock the second look. We pull back to a grand building under a pink-purple sky, a big red circle overhead, and a voice cuts in. That pale girl really took a liking to you. It teases. She wouldn't let go. Then the tone flips hard. To think a regressor would have such garbage talent. Pitiful. Playtime is over. Time to head to the training grounds. Now we see who's talking. A young man with short, dark hair looks up at a taller figure with red, orange, spiky hair, pointed ears and sharp teeth, gesturing through swirling red energy. And this is the lesson: talent is meaningless. He tells Crash he could seize everything, steal even his immortality, but pure talent gets overtaken by a true genius eventually. So if you lack talent, you steal it from everyone else, using your past experience and your secret techniques. Then it turns physical. A man in a white shirt is clutching his chest, struggling, yellow bursts of energy pouring off his hands and feet, a shadowy figure at his feet. Someone's calling for what they asked to be brought, teasing, "Did I keep you waiting?" It's finished, they say. The training's landing hard. Outside, a young man with brown hair and a sleeveless shirt holds a large ornate sword pointed down, looking up in surprise as a black crow watches from a branch. There's news, he's told. Things have changed. Someone stopped training after losing to Charlotte, then started again after that incident. And this one's always been the genius. Am I a genius or what? He grins. Then the pivot. There's one more thing to do before the tournament, he says. So sudden? Did the news fire you up? What he wants is an elixir, a special medicine that raises your physical stats the moment you drink it. He knows the formula and exactly what to do. These secret brewing techniques are passed down carefully. Here the pale, spiky, blonde-haired man with purple eyes studies a book while a dark-haired man stands behind him. The real problem, he says, is getting the materials, but he can manage, using his knowledge from before the regression. He'll figure it out. Just repeat after me, and this goes like so. This is the secret formula passed down in the Valheim family, the ingredients for the elixir. But can you actually get them? Finally, 3 young people stand out among rubble and debris, weapons in hand, a big building behind them. He explains it's a phantom herb, said to only grow near the nests of golden dragons, nearly impossible to find. But there's a better way. A junior martial arts tournament under 15s held in Ifania. And the reward for that tournament is the golden dragon herb. The one ingredient he can't buy is waiting at the end of a fight anyone's allowed to enter. We open mid-motion. Crash blurs across a wide training hall in a white tank top, and the sparring that put him here is nothing gentle. Blue energy burns off him as he strikes over a figure sprawled on the ground, red and blue light swirling around the hit. The point is spelled out plainly. He's combined intuition with the ability to instantly grasp movements and reached a realm bordering on precognition. That's the whole reason for the pain. And the pain serves a plan. Crash is going to disguise himself as a commoner so he can enter the tournament. A woman with auburn hair and pointed ears hands him a small brown object, the medicine that even magic can't detect. He drinks it, and the joke stops being funny. It turned him into a woman. She tells him it was just a joke. He didn't have to get so worked up. He asks how long it lasts. The answer: he's stuck with this face until tomorrow. Fine, it's about time they got out of here anyway. Then the scene widens. Crash stands by a carriage in a black cloak, leaves swirling, smiling faintly. He's made an offer to a dealer who can get him across the border, out through the lawless zone, and he's handing Green Pine Manor to someone he trusts while he's away. The head of the household told plainly to leave everything to him. The day after the medicine did its work, he's ready to move. There's a debt here too. Blue energy descends toward Crash as someone thanks him for curing their daughter, saying now they can die with no regrets. Crash won't have it. If you're truly grateful, then keep on living. And there's Bianca, thanks for agreeing to his request. He saved her daughter's life. He calls it a small price to pay. The answer comes back: they will survive no matter what. So he leaves. A young woman in a hooded cloak holds a woven basket she packed for him. The mission is the Empire. As soon as he obtains the solar fungus, he's coming straight back. She tells him to have a safe trip. It's been a long time since he's been home, so go get some proper rest. She'll be waiting for his return at Green Pine Manor. He takes the basket, says he'll eat it later, and heads out. On the road, Crash isn't idle. Ringed by blue flames, he takes stock. Things are stable thanks to his sky, but it's a shame he couldn't absorb any unpurified erosion on the way. That's on the merchant, who takes the route that avoids the eroded lands, which tells him just how capable that butler is and gets him wondering about the power of erosion itself. Then the trip goes wrong. The bandits hit. A masked brute grabs a man by the face while his victim struggles. Someone calls the boss impatient, and a man on the ground asks the only question that matters: am I going to be killed like this? Now it's Crash's turn. He runs forward while three hooded figures chase him. Glowing red dagger-shaped projectiles screaming through the air. They want his weapons. Hand them over and they'll let him go. Weapons. Crash isn't giving up anything. The bandits can't read him what's with this kid. You're no ordinary brat. He closes in with a blade, swinging an ornate sword at a masked figure defending with a spear, talking the whole time. He could handle this without even using his real technique. The bandit sneers that a cheap trick like that won't work, that he'll kill Crash in a single blow. He's wrong. Crash reads the attacks as they're being readied. And then the leader recognizes something, and everything stops. That secret technique just now, that's the Phantom Battle Axe. He stares at the disguised kid he ambushed for pocket change and asks the question that changes the whole fight. You're a disciple of the Slaughter Dog, aren't you? We open on a woman with long black hair standing over a downed monster, glowing blade in hand. She's already cut clean through part of its arm. Nearby, a gray-haired fighter trades blows with a man in a dark cloak, flames and sparks everywhere, a voice muttering it all, feels too early and he's got a bad feeling about it. That's the noise. Now here's Crash walking into it. The scene opens on a sprawling city, red roofs, ornate towers, bright blue sky. This is the Empire's capital, Ceylon. Voices in the crowd say it plainly: grab the golden dragon grass and get out fast, because Martial Tournament registration just opened and there are tons of interesting-looking competitors flooding in. Then we cut to a woman with short reddish-brown hair and amber eyes, talking sternly at a silver-haired man and gesturing hard. She's the one they call Princess, laying down the law. She's bringing every single one of them to the academy, and if His Majesty saw this behavior, he'd faint on the spot. He fires back that it's unbecoming, and to please stop mentioning their father again. Elsewhere, someone's hunched over a large book, gripping the pages, startled by what they're reading. The lines that land are about the imperial succession, that if someone as frail as them got tangled up in it, they'd be killed immediately. A candidate for the throne. The emperor. Heavy things to find on a page. Now the real chapter starts. Down a grand staircase comes a figure in a dark hooded cloak, moving through people in ornate robes and armor, one of them holding a sword, and one onlooker won't stop watching him. In their head he looks suspicious. He looks like a villain. That gloomy air, those narrowed eyes, and that crow on his shoulder. What if he's from the Empire's sword, enemy family? Don't underestimate my instincts, they tell themselves. Time to expose his true identity. And so we meet the one watching, a young woman with short white hair and a wide grin, in a light blue dress. She commits. She's going to check him out by leaping forward and falling right through the scene, glowing blue energy and speed lines trailing behind her, smiling the whole way down, thrilled with her own plan. Crash's response: nothing. He just says, "Flat, watch where you're going." That calm tone throws her completely. In her head, she's turning it over. She's finished registering for the tournament. Now she needs an in, and this boy won't give her a thing. Cut to an old man with a topknot and a walking stick, brown robes over a red scarf, flower petals drifting around him. He calls out, "Hey there, boy, are you entering the tournament? If you need a place to stay, you can stay at his." Meanwhile, the city keeps saying the same word at every door, fully booked. Everywhere's full. Crash figures he's sleeping outside tonight. But he takes the offer. The old man tells him to come down when dinner's ready and that he can use the room at the end of the second floor. Crash thinks it over. He slept outside all the time in his past life, and he's done with that, so he says, "Really? Then I'll take you up on it." He follows the stranger up, even as a black crow flaps at him, even as he clocks it this looks shady as hell. The white-haired girl turns up again, and Crash just ignores her and heads for his room. She's baffled. "You're the guy from earlier, and he's still ignoring me?" She's this cute and trying, and he can't even recognize her. She tells him to stop following her. He tells her she's too much trouble, no thanks, and she snaps back that there are way prettier people than him around anyway. We end on a young man with purple hair and a black bird mask, staring forward, distressed. The girl figured something out from just that brief exchange. She pieced together who he really is. Really now, from just that? The regressor who came to disappear into the crowd has already been read by the one person he couldn't afford to be. A white-haired man with tears in his eyes clutches at someone's arm, begging, while a red-haired woman stands facing him, calm as ice. He's rattled, snapping, "Who are you calling a child?" and blurting out that this boy might really be from Starlon, and the moment Starlon leaves his mouth, everyone in the room hears it. Because up on a wooden staircase, another woman is already picking it apart. Every region has its own pronunciation, she notes, but the essence of an accent can't be changed, and that boy's accent sits close to the Empire's. Even if the language matches, the reaction gives it away. So shall they capture him and interrogate him. Behind a closed door, sparks are already spitting. Elsewhere, a man in a gray suit throws up a hand as a wooden beam crashes down toward him. And someone's got a very bad feeling. At this rate, they say, the first and second princes are in danger. A rain of blood could fall on the imperial palace. Because the third princess, Sigrun, isn't her usual self. She's far more competent than a year ago, and that makes her dangerous. Out in a dusty arena, a hooded figure watches a purple blast slam into a man in white robes and send him flying. The preliminaries are over. The 4 winners are told to leave. But the stands are all talk about him that Crow is strange. They mutter, like some resident of the underworld who snatches information out of a conversation without ever leaving his seat. Then the real word lands. A young man in a light tunic stares up at a massive dark boot, hands clasped, because someone's accused him of being a night raven. He denies it flat. "You're mistaken. I'm not a night raven. Nobody bought a night raven entering the academy before, and now here's this suspicious crow, Night Raven, the name tied to the very fall of the Empire. So who is behind him?" That's when the shadow answers. In close, up the boy's face twists in terror, half swallowed by a figure with glowing red eyes and a beak-like nose. "What's with that face? Is something entering you?" the thing asks. It's the raven, riding him, and it offers a deal only this once. It'll lend him a hand. And the whole scheme spills out. A muscular man clutches his gut amid bursts of red energy, injured, as the truth gets laid bare. Night Raven was being used to track and adjust people's movements, and calling the boy their new master is strange, because the one who really drove them to destruction is the second prince. This was always about the Empire's fall. It's a trap set for the nobles. 2 men with pale blue hair take it from there. One distressed, one cold. The play was to get rid of the second prince, weaken the first prince, strengthen the influence, the person Sigrun would target, now that she has the inheritance in her sights. Someone's spreading it on purpose. You've got to be kidding. One breathes. Wait. The one who really benefits is... Then a dark-haired figure with intense eyes lunges into action against brick walls scrawled with purple text. It comes back to the 4th princess. If Sigrun becomes emperor, the odds run 10 to 1. She tried to eliminate the rival, steal Sigrun's skill, hand it all over, and the empire's fall leads to an overflow, a world erosion. Someone has to interfere. But the ones pulling the strings are done with their pawn. A hooded figure stands with their back turned in a dark cloak, while a person in desert clothes hurries away. Leave him. He's served his purpose, they say. So what now? Find the real Night Raven hiding in the finals and send this borrowed form back where it belongs. And, in the last panel, someone in a long dark robe stands over a body pouring out glowing white energy. I'll teach you a lesson. The figure snarls to think you'd impersonate me, a member of Night Raven. Was your name Crash? Crash? Did you say your name was Crash? And on that name, we cut. The winner of the 30-second match raises a blue-gloved hand and kicks up a cloud of dust, and the whole arena is convinced this masked fighter is the legendary Night Crow. He isn't. Up on the platform, a young woman calls out, "Night Crow," and everyone in the stands has decided the name fits. The thing is, whoever's wearing it privately admits it's about time the real Night Crow showed up. He's getting bored watching kids fight down here. Then a friend leans over the stone ledge, arms up in surprise at his overwhelming victory. She came to watch even after he told her not to. He brushes it off. It's nothing, but she can tell something happened. He won't spell it out. He just says the main bracket starts tomorrow, so he's going to sleep and tells her to look after herself. Later, hooded and drained, a small gray creature on his shoulder, he shuts his eyes and mutters that she's certainly lived a strange life. Elsewhere, the mood turns cold. Sarah, the red-haired one, faces off with someone with long blue hair, and the question is whether they can really trust the Imperial spy they've hired, and she says she'll double-check. In a dim room, a dark figure stands under a boot, looming overhead, and says, "Let's go, Krim." Everyone's circling the same problem, the fake Night Crow, and what happens when a real one appears. That real one steps out of the shadows. A scarred man with crossed arms and a dagger at his hip says he didn't think the imposter would show himself this soon, then asks if it's fun pretending to be the Night Crow. Crash answers with steel. He lashes out with a fist and two blades flash in his hand. His opponent swings a huge red cross-shaped weapon. Crash blocks it and fires back, throwing bare-handed punches wrapped in bursting energy until red is splattering across the room. But mid-fight, someone else is talking. A hooded man pointing at a chest is yelling, and beside him a beak-nosed figure with a single red eye speaks about Sigrun's plan. Then a spiky-haired man looms over a crying woman clutching her chest and names himself the necromancer Evelask. He tells her that her fate is even more cursed than anyone's around them. Glass shatters, red energy flares, and broken wing shards scatter, because the Night Crow, he notes, was wiped out years ago, back when he was at the academy. Then Evelask makes his offer, and it's monstrous. He tells the woman the heart that should rightly belong to her is out there, and if she gives the word, he can take it back right here and now. She's on the floor, glasses fogged, chained, staring up at the cloaked figure over her. He keeps pushing, say it. Put your heart into it. You're already sick and tired of this life, aren't you? Just imagine it. Spend the rest of your days as the Imperial family's pet. Leave the work to your corpses and lounge around in here every day, so you never have to work again. That's when the plea lands. A young man in a cape, a black crow at his side, admits it out loud, "I've already worked for 1,000 years. He doesn't want to work anymore. He'll give up his heart if it means being set free, and through her tears the woman whispers the only name she has left. Save me. Crash. So Crash answers. He reaches toward the pale, dark-haired woman and touches her forehead, light spilling from his open hand as the heart begins to change hands. She breathes out, "Please, take my heart. Evelask." And off to the side, a white-haired man watches through swirling purple energy amid stone ruins, smirks, and says, "Well done." What that heart just bought, and what a skill thief wants with it, is exactly where this cuts off. A woman with dark hair sits chained on the floor, crying. Please, she begs, she just wants to live. Standing over her, surrounded by monstrous creatures, is a shadowy figure named Evelask. She gestures at him, telling him to keep his promise and take back her heart. Evelask answers with a deal he'll return her heart when everything is over. First, she does what he says. "Stop crying already," he tells her. He's going to take care of that woman. The woman he means is Sarah, the swordswoman they call the Mad Sword, the fourth princess's master swordsman. We see her red-haired and bloodied, wielding a long sword against something unseen. Then she's on the ground, injured, a huge ape-like creature looming over her, giving off waves of purple energy. This is Lord Sigrin's order to Everlask manipulate Sarah's corpse and use it to kill Sisley. Then the page shifts. A speech bubble bursts across the dark, someone longing for Lord Arthur. A young man with light hair and red eyes remembers a promise meet in front of the Statue of Peace. His heart was pounding as he headed there. But Arthur never appeared. Another figure, white-haired, cries in the falling snow, clutching a yellow keepsake. It's been a year since he started waiting. Sigrin told him to keep waiting. When Arthur returns, he'll regain his former strength. Everlask keeps her pawns in line the same way every time. A muscular man is shown restrained in metal straps. Another stands with a raven on his shoulder, and Everlask, holding her spear, reminds him not to try anything strange. "You know I hold your heart, right?" "Yes, of course." She looks over the corpses she's collected, admitting she has bad taste. She's hiding a cute boy among them. "It's a shame," she says. "He's already a corpse." Now the story goes back. A pure boy whose dream is world peace. A commoner, 14 years old from the provinces, very ordinary. His name comes up in the final match at Lehern Academy, a place no country can interfere with. He leaps forward with a katana against the assassin they call the Night Raven, real name Crash. Someone's pleading with him, "You don't really want to do assassinations. You could quit and live a normal life." But there's a warning first. "Pilly, when you face despair, you overcome it, so stop the assassination now." In the ring, the boy leaps and kicks his opponent, debris flying. The Raven uses his movement technique, the 10-league step, Tenri Jupo, and it doesn't work. The boy blocks every attack, reacting as if seeing a ghost, cracking the Raven's sword and reading his feints. "Perhaps I know you better than you know yourself," he says. "Your feints, your habits, everything." His talent has bloomed, moving slower than his opponent, but reaching first, a sixth sense combined with the experience of knowing his enemy. He raises a large ornate sword that lights up with blue energy and points it upward among the stone pillars so that even a seed left behind can grow strong. Then the call comes, the winner is Crash. Will we ever meet again somewhere? Afterward, a man lies on his back in a pool of blood, a dagger and a small pouch beside him. He'd never heard the words, thank you so much." Then the second prince, Siphonophania, promises to meet again at the academy. Everlask tells her pawn to keep his head down. "Hold your heart. Stay obedient like a loyal dog." But something's gone wrong. Guards with spears push through the chaos and arrest Sisley on suspicion of murdering the fourth princess. "Why would I kill that idiot?" he demands. An assassination order was found, one he swears he never wrote, planted at the Night Raven's hideout. A red-haired woman recoils, a small white-haired girl clinging to her. Nobody's even seen an assassin. Who was murdered? What is going on? Sisley of Fania freezes mid-sentence, staring at nothing. How in the world did this happen? The premonition she sensed is coming true. In the next room, Sarah says it plain the Imperial spies they've been trusting can't be trusted anymore. She'll check again to be sure, but Lady Sisley's warning has already landed, and it's landed too late. Then a bad feeling hits Sarah and she moves. "I have to go see Lady Sisley quickly. Who in the world is targeting her? The scholars who defected, the spies they'd withdrawn?" She thought it couldn't be true, right up until a man in a dark suit lunges at a red-haired woman with a dagger. That's when the voice starts inside Crash's head. He's clutching his skull, radial lines bursting off him. It's speaking, it hurts, it won't stop. Then it cuts to the man himself, hand on his chest, glaring at a shadowy figure raising a spear. "What in the world did you do to me?" No answer, just the worst thought left standing. Is someone targeting me? The accusation goes loud. Someone brands Sarah Weiss, captain of the Black Dragon Knights, arrested on suspicion of being a spy. A spy, you say? A masked, horned man in dark armor comes flying in, gold sparks off his hands, and the charge lands. You brought the Black Dragon Knights, and you assumed the royals were murdered. A young man gets slammed straight into a pile of debris. Then the plan shows its face. A white-haired woman stands in a burst of red energy, and the order comes flat: kill Sisley after killing Sarah. If she becomes a bigger obstacle later, they have no choice but to kill her here and now. That's why Lady Sisley tried to eliminate her first and ruined the plan doing it. Nearby, a pale figure with glowing symbols on her hands quietly runs the whole thing. It's chaos now. A woman with swirling eyes and red markings screams to protect the prince and princess. "What are you doing, monster?" Another reaches out shouting as a shadowy figure looms behind her. The assassins are unraveling. They failed to kill the imperial target, and one keeps repeating it: everything. Did everything fail? Then the cheat wakes up. A figure dances across a cracked, burning floor at what the world flatly calls the fastest speed alive, and one word ignites in gold light around the fighter: skill Axel. A woman in gray with a dark staff pins a hooded man beneath her, purple energy grinding between them, and she snarls the question that rattles her: how could a mere corpse stop my Axel? Do you know me? Crash, it's you. The trap springs on the trappers. Diana screams that she'll repay this, that someone attempted the assassination. Arrest that person immediately. My spear, as 3 masked guards wrench a hooded man off his feet and drag him into custody. Then it's Crash on the ground, 2 women holding him up. "Crash, are you okay?" He waves it off, even with the family's protective necklace. That's just what happens when you face the divine spear. But he's fine, really. A raven marked with a red symbol sits on his shoulder as the women fuss. He tells them to find out if there are related parties still around, then insists he's used to pain. "Sisley, protect yourself first. Let's leave quickly," amid the commotion. Someone snaps back, "What nonsense," leaving without even a thank you. So they chase him down. A light blue-haired girl, held back by another woman, vows it: "I'll chase after him and repay this." Crash said he was leaving, didn't he? Well then, take care. But somewhere quieter, the real play is finishing up. A hand holds out a plant, like creature with spiral horns, and a calm voice says it's finally convenient to have the ability to move. "Here's the grass you asked for, now that everything's finished." A shame, though, living humans can only be moved to nearby places, and the heart would have been far more useful without restrictions on its use. And the target doesn't understand what she's looking at. A dark-haired woman in glasses stares, wide-eyed. "Can I really take it?" The figure studies her. "You seem different from other world invaders." She thought she was being exploited. Didn't she use the power of invasion when she stopped those attackers? She cups a small red object in trembling hands, looking up beneath a large dark circle, and what she really is hangs there, unspoken, as the chapter cuts. "You keep talking about that fiancé, and the man it's aimed at flinches like it physically hurts. A message just reached Crash, and it's the worst kind. Butcher Dog has entered the Hardenhearts Mountains. His fiancée is in danger, and word came back that she's gone missing." What? So that was why. He'd had a bad feeling the moment he met Butcher Dog's disciple, and now he knows why. Until now, nobody around him even knew Crash had a fiancée. And the name he's been going by is fake. His real name is Crash Wilhelm, youngest son of the Wilhelm family, and his fiancée, Bianca, is somewhere in Hardenhearts right now. Then we cut to Bianca herself, dark hair, wide, frightened eyes, blood soaking through the front of her dress. "This is all my fault," she says. "Something has already gone very wrong." Rewind to how she got up there. She went to gather something called white snow sun fungus, and she climbed alone, no search party, just herself and a single book. On the Hardenhearts range, near a temporary tent, she runs into Jenica Hardenhearts, the family's second daughter, and Jenica is not happy to see her. The old wound comes out fast. "Why did you come too, big sister?" Bianca asks. Jenica snaps that it's none of her business. She doesn't even want to see Bianca's face. Just take the fungus and hurry back. Then the real one lands, so you've hated me from the start. Someone in that family died, and somebody decided it was Bianca's fault. Bianca only pushes on Mr. Crash is not a failure. So she keeps moving through the snow. I'm sorry, I'll return as soon as I find the fungus. But she's not gathering herbs anymore. Red energy tears through the white behind her. Blade-like shapes slicing the air. She's running for her life. Here's what's chasing her. Butcher dog's disciple, dark hair, a fang bared in a grin, leaning over a terrified man. This is annoying, he laughs, then decides it's his lucky day, perfect prey for hostages out here. All anyone can do is scream for the girls to move. Please run, at least you young ladies. That's when Bianca has an idea, and it's a desperate one. The murderer is toying with them for fun, and there's nowhere safe to walk but the crevasse. If they reach it, they might just make it. Where did you hide, young ladies? He calls, still hunting. So they climb. Two figures scaling a steep, icy cliff, snow falling, a bright drop yawning past the edge. We're going to jump over there. Are you ready? They both know what that means. If we fail, we'll die, but it's the only door the murderer can't follow them through. Then he catches up anyway. It's okay, Jenica. Trust me, Bianca says, right as he comes crashing down through the ice, red markings blazing around him. Looks fun. Let me join in too. They jump. Cut back to that firelit room, and the wound from the first scene finally bleeds. There sit the pale blue clusters of white snow sun fungus, spilled from a little drawstring bag, the thing she went up the mountain for. The search party says that spot was the last place Bianca was seen. If I'd honestly said that from the start, we wouldn't have run into that murderer. Crash keeps circling it. None of this had to happen. And it's already been a week. A week without her. Two men stand facing each other by the fire, one barely holding it together. Bianca, who only ever reads, she couldn't survive on a remote mountain like that. But he can't let go of the last thing left, I want to see you. Across from him, someone finally understands. So that's what happened. Crash. Whether Bianca made it out and what Crash does now is exactly where this cuts to black. A white-haired girl lies sprawled in the snow, reaching out toward nothing as light and snow burst around her. This is Bianca, the girl who, by her own account, normally does nothing but read books. Now she's down in the cold, telling herself she just wants to see someone again. She's hurt. She kneels clutching her leg, saying the warmth in the air is the only thing keeping her going, that for days she's survived on nothing but the heat rising off the snowy ground, dozing off and jerking awake to keep her body temperature up. She admits she's near her limit. She fell after tangling with a killer, got lucky reaching this place, and keeps walking aimlessly onward. She pieces together why she's alone. An avalanche hit not long ago, so her team is probably delayed too. Her supplies and food are lost, and between the cold, the exhaustion, and the lack of nutrition, her strength is spent. She keeps telling herself she has to eat something, that she can't hold on, even though she promised she'd deliver it to Mr. Crash. She keeps falling asleep on her feet. Then she spots something on the ground. Acorns did a squirrel hide these? Sorry, little squirrel, she says. I'll borrow just a little. It's the only food she's found. But she doesn't get to eat in peace. Something sends her tumbling through the air, her blue hair and white fur collar blurring with the motion. And the one closing in isn't thinking about her at all. He's eyeing that hair ornament, figuring that if he sells it, it might be worth some money. He notes she's Valheim's fiancé and grumbles this would have been easier if she'd just quietly acted like a normal hostage. As she falls, Bianca's mind is elsewhere. She thinks of Crash. She wants to see him, and of the days she spent reading beside him, the fun times. Then a dark, cloaked figure slams down into the debris, a bright burst of light exploding out behind him from the force of the impact. The attacker snarls, "Who the hell?" as the newcomer speaks first. "You did well, Bianca. Leave the rest to me. It's Crash." He says he's counting on her to hold on, and readies his release, energy building around him. The masked man isn't impressed. He warns that his servants aren't meant for battle, that this one fears the butcher hound's master, that they have no obligation to cooperate, and reminds Crash the butcher hound is stronger than he is. Crash, his arm visibly injured, holds Bianca's hand and answers flatly. No matter how strong the butcher hound is, Crash says he'll be the one who wins. He demands to know why they're interfering with him and tells them to give it back. That ornament belongs to his fiancée. Then he attacks the shadowy figure with the large blade head on, naming him Butcher Bergman. The two trade blows through the falling snow. The butcher sizes Crash up mid-fight, sneering about levels, calling himself top tier and experienced while writing Crash off as merely expert level, promising to take him apart. Crash spins mid-air, sword pointed down, wrapped in trails of blue energy. Well, that was fun. I'll end this, the butcher laughs, then stops short. Huh? He's gone. He can still smell the human, he says, but can't find where he went, cackling that there's an opening. Crash has slipped his sight. Crash grits that he can't expand his domain against the butcher's brute strength, and that an even stronger attack is coming. The monster's determined to beat him no matter what. He dodges the unseen force, purple triangular shapes flickering around him, and mutters, "What the hell is this?" Then Crash makes his move. His blade ignites, his dark hair flaring fiery red as he deflects the butcher's leaping axe. "I'll send you off before that," he says. "The search party should be arriving soon." And as the finisher lands, the butcher hound locks up mid-strike. Crash is moving fast through swirling red, yellow, and blue energy, and his own senses are being distorted around him. The old him would have been dead before he even realized what happened. But he isn't that man anymore. He's survived worse than this. So he pushes his aura to the absolute limit and triggers hyper, perception, then phantom bind. His opponent is a warrior named Bergman, dark hair and armor, and he swings his axe straight at Crash through the shadow and dust. Bergman tells himself not to show what he has yet, that he can't be careless, because he's on an entirely different level. He calls out, taunting Crash about how much longer he can hold out. His plan is to keep him cocky. He needs Crash believing he's already won, right up until the second he strikes. Because when Crash blocked his axe earlier, it was unnatural, and there's no telling how long this phantom bind will even hold him. Crash stands stone-faced, refusing to bite even with the provocation. Bergman laughs it off, but admits he has to be even more cautious now. He threatens to rip a girl limb from limb and shove the pieces down Crash's throat, snarling that he knew Crash was more than just a common stray. Still, he tells himself Phantom Bind is finally taking its toll, and that he shouldn't get any closer because Crash is too dangerous. Then the illusion turns on Crash. A huge, dark, feathered bird, monster with red eyes, comes tearing out of the storm, purple energy wrapping both of them in the snow. Bergman wonders if Crash can really survive an endless storm of illusions, and decides he'll just keep swinging until Crash breaks. And at this rate, he realizes Crash is actually going to die. That's when the people watching decide they're done watching. A young man in glasses hugging a white creature says he might be a loner, but he's not a coward who forgets a debt. He can't just stand here and watch his savior die. Someone tells him to stay out of it, warning that monster will hunt them to the end of the earth. But another voice cuts in, have some faith in the man who got your heart back. If Crash dies, they'll just find a way to bring his corpse back to life. From above, a dark-haired figure looks down at the fighters lying on the ground, a little bird creature beside him. He admits he's at his limit. He's burned through so much aura he can barely keep his eyes open. Still, he trusts Crash has the mental strength to see this through. And Crash does. He's kept his fangs hidden until this very moment. He realized a long time ago that he had no talent, that he was always weak. The strong overpower enemies with a fair and honorable strike, but Crash never had that luxury. Now, wrapped in orange flames with debris scattering around him, he tells Bergman this is the end for him. But there's a catch. Crash can only hold this state for exactly 3 seconds. He's ending it now. He can't even track his own strike, and when it lands, he clicks his tongue because he missed the vitals. If he doesn't move, he's dead. A sound distorts his vision. The erosion starts wearing off, his sixth sense screaming. Like hell he's dying here. In that instant, Crash reaches the state of absolute oneness, his eye glowing bright with the transformation. The strong defeat their enemies without breaking a sweat, but for the weak to claim victory, it takes a sacrifice. Crouched in the snow, he wonders for a heartbeat if he actually lost. He didn't. When it clears, the great dark blue bird monster with glowing pink eyes turns its head and stares straight out. Satisfied now? Hardly, Crash answers. Then it's over time to head back to the Blue Pine Pavilion. Let's go. A young man with dark hair and blue eyes is yelling in an indoor scene, clutching at someone we can't see. His own family broke off the engagement between Crash and Bianca. After the massacre, House Walheim decided the marriage alliance wasn't worth anything anymore. And the cruelest part is what he's shouting, "You wouldn't even care if I died, Crash. After all, we're practically strangers now." Because here's what's wrong with Bianca. She's swallowed too much of the curse. She's become a doll, and this is the day she was finally freed from the Snow Doll's curse for the first time in her life. And even freed, all Crash gets to say to her is, "This the world is cruel, isn't it?" Then the page pulls back to the war. Word is the white demon eventually hunted down the Poison King, one of the world's top 10, and killed him in revenge. The prince held intel sensitive enough to bring the empire to its knees, and he's been in seclusion at the North Sea Ice Palace ever since. It all started because the empire's second prince defected, and the war kept dragging on. Crash stands in the middle of it now, in a dark coat, surrounded by shattered debris and an explosion of yellow light. Snow is falling as he faces down a castle of large stone buildings, shouting for her again, "Bianca, open up." His people run the frontline supply depot, but that's not what's on his mind. Damn it, he thinks, I've overused it. He's spent too much, and now the only question left is the one he hates. Is my only choice to ask Bianca for help. When he finds her, she's a pale woman with long white hair, unconscious in his arms in the snow. And standing there, he remembers what he asked her before, which was more painful, having emotions or not having them at all. His sister Jenica had told him something about that. He just looks down at her and says it quietly, "It's been a long time, Bianca." Then a blonde woman is on her knees in front of a large building, covering her face with her hands. She's the one who had no emotions, who felt absolutely nothing, and now she finally understands what it all meant. Human feelings are so complex. Maybe things ended the way they did because she hated herself for hating. But now she knows the truth, the curse buried. She really did love me, and that's the part that breaks him. After that, it's quiet. Crash is lying injured in bed, wrapped in bandages, and a young woman with short white hair leans over him, smiling. If Krim hadn't told her where he was, she might not have made it in time. "Why would you go up that mountain by yourself?" she asks. And Crash, being Crash, has an answer that isn't really an answer. "I just wanted snow, heat, fungus." "Does your arm hurt?" "Not really," he lies. She thanks him. This is exactly what she needed for the elixir. But then she says the thing under all of it. She can't feel joy or anger or even sadness, and right now that's unbearable. She wants to laugh with him, wants to cry with him, even though he pushed himself to the brink of death to save her. She can't feel a single piece of it. Their hands lace together, fingers interlocking, and she says, "Please, help me find my feelings again." And Crash doesn't hesitate. "You don't even have to ask," he tells her. "When you're angry, I want to be angry right alongside you." He lies back, bandaged head to toe, and breaks into a wide grin as light sparkles down over the bed. Because that was the plan from the very beginning, that one day, if she could express her emotions like that, the world wouldn't look so gray to her anymore. We open on Bianca in a bad way, the white and gray-haired girl lying tangled in her own hair, blood still in it, letting out a weak groan. Nearby, a horned man rests on an ornate bed, while a white-haired woman lies beside him, the room heavy with luxury. Bianca stands at the door with that blank, expressionless face again, and someone wonders if she's still having trouble processing everything. Then a knock. It's Jenica Hardenhearts, asking if she may come in. Bianca looks up surprised Jenica and tells her to come in. Jenica gets right to it, worried, asking what happened to her, asking about her eyes, and the question just hangs there, why are you even here? Jenica explains. Her brother asked her to invite Bianca to lunch. Crash steps in, offering to bring food up since Bianca can't move, quietly reading whether she even wants to go. And you can see how far things have slipped. Bianca didn't meet Jenica's eyes even once. Jenica recalls apologizing to her before, and Crash's line is simple. If Jenica's trying to change, Bianca doesn't have to forgive her. If she doesn't like it, just ignore her. Then, Crash makes the promise that matters. When this is over, the two of them will head back to their real home together. Bianca looks stunned by it, and in a field of white flowers she's finally smiling, calling out that she's off and she's happy right now, while Crash heads out with an easy, "Yeah, see you later," a small red-eyed creature at his feet. But Crash isn't only soft. He turns to his familiar, a dark, red-eyed creature with long claws, and gives an order: listen in on whatever the family says to Bianca. If they say one wrong thing, tear this place to the ground, and he doesn't care who's watching. He's already got a little black mouse in his fist, the spy ready to go. Then the work starts. A large black bird with glowing red eyes needles him. You really think you can steal in that state? Crash tells it not to get so worked up, it's sharp as ever. This targets a legend. There's talk of a saintess in one of the four great nations, said to wield divine power granted by God, capable of even resurrecting the dead. And there's the sword demon, a swordsman who passed away from old age, but whose quick draw style hasn't died with him. Crash's whole plan is right there: transplant the sword demon's arm onto himself and bring that legendary technique back to life. He's not learning the sword, he's stealing a lifetime of it. The price runs through grief. The arm belongs to Crimson Garden, who saw the sword demon as her most prized subordinate, and Crash argues straight through her attachment. Isn't this what the sword demon would have wanted too? He leans on it until it works, thanking Crimson Garden as the deal lands. His terms wait 2 days, and don't call him by his real name, only when you actually want something. Back home, the trap springs. Bianca's own family turns on her. The eldest son, Mariokan Hardenhearts, tells her to stop acting like a spoiled child and hand over the position of fiancé. But the rumors have flipped. Word is Crash Valheim saved his finances and defeated the butcher dog, so the loser they mocked just beat a peak expert. With the patriarch away, they're circling, insisting the engagement is her call, while forcing the answer. So Bianca gives it. From the head of the table, her hair lifting with fury, she throws it back at them. And what exactly has the family ever done for me? From the very beginning, there was never a place for her in Hardenhearts. Her mind is made up, even if she's kicked out. I will stay by Crash's side. Across the table, a dark-haired, red-eyed man lurches up, shouting her name into the silence. Bianca! 2 days after the fight, in an empty field in Hardenhearts, Crash is trying to focus his aura and his extreme blood poison into a single point. And he just tried it with only one arm. The reality that he's not clever hasn't changed, he admits, but at least the snow doll activated properly. It's harder than he thought. He works the problem out loud. If he could control the heat, he could hold the flame longer, but his organs could burn from it. And he's spotted a weakness in extinguishing flame erosion. It raises his body heat to the extreme. There's a flash of the memory that got him here. A white-haired figure suspended in swirling blue energy, a dagger in each hand going cold. That corrupting power broke his body's limit, and thanks to it, the blood poison was cancelled out. Which is why he's standing outside Ebelask's house. Crash looks up the snowy path and checks. Is this the place? He's here for the moon shadow limb of the Flame Emperor, Aslan Egret. Once that arm was a curse. Now it's his next goal. Inside, it's all business. So this is the sword demon's arm. The master is waiting. The transplant is ready, and they'll attach it right away. Welcome, Lord Crash. They confirm the abilities connected, same as before, and a servant introduces herself as Corpse Unit Number 8 of Ebelask. Then the honesty. It's possible, they tell him, but it'll hurt a lot. And if he's scared, he's welcome to pass out. The woman orders Number 8 to restrain Crash so he can't move, calls it the regeneration of the sword demon's arm, and says, "All right, let's begin. Don't expect her to stop if he cries later." Crash lies on the stone floor, his left arm already a monstrous limb, the maid's knife over him. It's brutal. Someone reaches in with glowing red and purple hands, and Crash grits out for them to quit stalling and take the restraint off. It's over fast. She's impressed he didn't pass out. Oh right, one last thing. Extreme blood poison. Ugh. Afterward, he plans to get used to it little by little, testing the arm that absorbed the blood poison while a young woman with orange, streaked hair looks on, openly disgusted. The talk turns technical. She's heard he's after an ancient book, and asks how much he really knows about the sword demon's draw. It may look like a single strike, she warns, but it's completely different. For a regressor like him, it's just really strong. She breaks it down. The draw divides the stored aura into fine parts, accelerates the explosion, then releases it all the moment the sword is sheathed. Does he understand? For now, he'll just try it. He grips the burning sword, blue energy screaming off the blade against the carved stone wall, and tells himself everything is ready. The sword demon swung this thousands of times, so it should be in the arm. All that's left is his will. He'll recreate the draw over and over. But looking at his own hand, glowing blue between the fingers, he knows it's still an aura problem. He can still see the sword with the naked eye, and for this to work, he shouldn't be able to. Even so, the ones he'll face someday are above master level. No, 8 tells him to have more confidence. He thanks her for training with him all these days and says he's going back to Valem today. Before he goes, he has favors to ask, keep watch so no one interferes with hardened hearts, and if someone strong comes, someone like the Poison King or the 5 Elders, it won't be easy. And if she ever needs something from him, she just has to say it. As Crash rides off, Number 8 stays behind. The old her would have followed him without thinking, but going with him leads into very dangerous corruptors, and she's afraid that if she stays any longer, she'll start comparing everyone to him. So this is for the best. She'll make sure to repay him properly. The carriage rolls away through the falling leaves. Welcome back, young Master Crash. 2 figures cross a tiled courtyard away from us, and the report they're relaying is all about him. A man named Larry Bince used to look down on Crash, calling him useless, and now Bince has been fired. The main house blamed him outright, and the situation has settled. Pathetic as always, they say. It's handled. Inside, Crash confronts an older, disheveled man summoning blue energy from his hands, and the talk turns to strength. Crash was already thinking it was time to prove himself, and it's natural the family noticed the head is coming to evaluate him, since Emperor Aslan needs the family's power. Crash thanks him for handling it, master, class, head butler and all. Then Ariad appears, told to bring the materials the moment Crash returned. Nearby, a blonde girl with wide eyes waves her hands, cheerfully calling out Ohio, while a man in a dark suit and glasses stands off to the side looking displeased. There's news Lady Charlotte has arrived and she's waiting in Crash's own room. Crash walks in smiling, and Charlotte doesn't waste a second. "You made your older sister wait?" she says, Charlotte Valheim of the Valheim family, bored out of her mind and glad to see him. Long time no see, Crash. He barely manages a stunned sister. She teases him right away. She's not here to steal his fiancé. He fought hard to save the girl, didn't he? She's only joking. She heard all about it. Still, it makes her a little sad. Then the warmth turns sharp. She's kicking a shadowy figure to the ground, sword in hand, while Crash looks on in shock. "Why are you acting like this?" he asks, and she fires it back. She's just surprised he suddenly showed up at her house. This mansion belongs to the family, so it's your house, right? She needles. Then she really looks at him and the smile goes quiet. Charlotte has the star eye, the gift that sees even world erosion, which is why illusions never worked on her. She can see his current condition, just like he can see the star mark on his servants. To anyone else, his power probably looks like a strange black flame, but only a devourer, or the servant of an eroder, could see what she's seeing, and there are only a handful of those alive. So she asks the question that lands hardest. You already awakened. You even became mid-level. Why did you keep it a secret? She keeps reading him. He probably resembles their mother. She muses. He's carrying a lot of equipment, honestly. He doesn't seem that different from before the regression. And then the cold part. They aren't fundamentally like other people anymore. They are world erosion itself. That's when she decides to test him. Their levels were always different, she admits. So different she never once fought him, even before the regression. So show her. Test your strength. Come at me with everything you have, she warns, or I'll get angry. They square off in the ruins, and it's a rough 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and Crash hasn't even swung his sword. He won't strike first, isn't using his aura at all, and it only irritates her. She's asking why he isn't attacking. It would be strange to attack first, he mutters. Understood. So he goes first. There's no choice. Gray energy and debris swirl up around him as he triggers his limit break, flame erosion rising from his whole body, and the catch is it only lasts 1 second. Red eyes blazing, purple energy bursting off his weapon, he draws the extinguishing flame. Truth is, Crash was using his full power from the very start. Charlotte answers with a blue blade, another figure hurled backward by the force. It can't be helped, she says. Then she condenses pure aura into an aura blade, the symbol of a master-class swordsman, and tells him flatly that now he can't use his sword anymore. He couldn't pierce her aura, not with his current strength. But as he reaches out one last time, burning down to nothing, that's exactly what he says. I couldn't pierce your aura, sister. But I reached you. Crash reaches out with his hands full of energy, straining, and admits it out loud with his current strength. He couldn't pierce his sister's aura. And that aura is no small thing. Even fighters at her level never matched its flow. A perfect barrier no one weaker could break. A current wrapped around her whole body. She stands above him on a dark red perch, holding a long ornate weapon, looking down at the blurry figures below. That aura belongs to Charlotte, and Crash learned how far it reaches the hard way. Held up by an older man in glasses outside a great building, the story comes out Crash lost consciousness the moment after he sparred with Charlotte. It should never have happened, and Crash admits that if that attack had reached him, he wouldn't be standing here. Her power is worried over, but treated as a good thing in the end, because it's Lord Crash, and word is he's headed to La Hen Academy. A few days later, at the Danfarian family's alchemy mansion, Crash is bouncing off the walls, bumping right into a seated old gentleman, asking if there's training he can do until this year's enrollment. His sister says she'll go on ahead and wait for him, and the old man admits his skills seem reliable enough. Then they hand him a white bowl at a table covered in alchemical tools, 2 men watching. He drinks it. You drank it without even knowing what it was? Yes, he did. The medicine is called the 9-Dragon Transformation Will, a spirit pill, and the moment it's down, everyone waits for the expression Crash will make. And it hits. Fists clenched, a dark bird on his shoulder. Crash feels heat building inside his body, a burning that isn't quite unbearable, but close. They tell him the saying behind it, endure this fire enough times, and you become a dragon. It grows you by tearing you apart. Sitting cross-legged, arms stretched overhead and grimacing, Crash rides the pain of burned organs and nerves and says he's felt something like this before, so he's fine. They warn him it's dangerous even for him. What kind of life did he live before? The more he concentrates, the more he absorbs. Down he sinks through dark water in a cloud of bubbles, and the voice pushes him. Even if he reaches his limit, he'll be forced to stand up again. That's what regressors do, endure pain only to reach the goal ahead. Crouched shirtless beside a glowing, fiery symbol with the raven near him, he burns away the waste the pill left behind. He's stubborn, and they tell him he needs to be, because he'll face opponents stronger than himself. The pill refines the quality of his power, not just the amount he was born with. When it's over, someone asks if Crash is finished, and there's a soft moment waiting. He touches the cheek of a white-haired girl, and she flushes. Bianca said she didn't want to leave him. A fiancé should always stay by his side. He tells her next time to wait somewhere warm. Then the future comes back up. Crash is entering Lehen Academy next year, and Lehen doesn't use a normal grade system. You can't take the next class unless you pass the test. Over a desk piled with books and papers, they remind him he's been preparing to enroll, and that 1 year from now Charlotte enrolls too. And then the whiplash. Back at the house, a blonde woman throws her arms around a shirtless, spiky-haired Crash, and he recoils, shouting at her to get away, a silver-haired butler standing by. Word spreads that Lord Crash has returned to Blue Pine Hall, and in 1 week the household will see for themselves. A white-haired man in a dark suit stands wrapped in blue energy, quietly noting how much Crash has grown, and says he's looking forward to it. A white-haired woman with a silver staff walks up to Crash and tells him they should confirm his ability again. There's going to be a retest. He heard it from Arid, she says, because he defeated the high-level slaughter dog. Crash brushes it off as just luck. Then he recognizes her. It's been a while. He greets her as head butler, and she gently corrects him. Her name is Catherine Valheim, his great-aunt. Crash goes serious all of a sudden, and Catherine wonders what he's about to say. It's about the seat of family head, she tells him, not something he can hide from. If he can't stand on the same stage as Charlotte, then that seat is out of reach. In this family, the strong are given a place worthy of them. Crash asks what's so funny, and she admits the whole family thing makes her laugh. Anyway, she says, let's start. Compared to the Crash of a year ago, he looks like a completely different person. It seems he's reached high-level expertise, master class, and she can hardly believe how much he's changed. Golden particles swirl around him as he lifts his weapon in both hands and takes his stance, and she keeps circling back to how small that difference used to be and how much it makes her laugh now. Then Catherine sets the terms. Since he's master class now, she says there's no need for her to hold back. She points at his stance. If he can make her step back even a single step, then she's going. That's the win, 1 step, and he passes the test. She recognizes the shape of it too. That's the sword demon's stance. There's a flicker of someone else in it, a white-haired man clutching a scar at his throat, the sword demon, and the thought that if he were still alive he'd have something to say. The aura, she notes, is Crash's sheath, and she admits she doesn't know where he learned this. Crash steps in, wielding a glowing sword wrapped in swirling purple energy, and drives forward. He swings the blade with everything he has, sound cracking off the movement, and Catherine can clearly see it's the same as before. The technique is real, not a fluke. Crash stands in the middle of shattered stone, debris blown out all around him, looking almost surprised at what he just did, and she gives the verdict he passed the test. His draw technique, she says, was first class. With the test cleared, Crash names what he actually wants to join Valheim's 5 swords, the top Knight Order, and be sent to the Red Magic Tower of Hargram. There's a hitch about the middle-tier Blue Sea Knights, but the answer is yes, he passed. An older graying man watches him with concern and asks what he's planning. Catherine says the hesitation in his eyes is gone, and she'll talk with the Knight Comparer herself. Then, good work. They're returning to the Forbidden Zone. 3 weeks later, Crash reaches the Magic City, so this is Hargram's sacred place of the Red Magic Tower. Someone tells him he's grown. Walking the crowded street beside a gray-haired woman, he lays out the warnings. This is the most dangerous place, which is why the Flame King, one of the Tower Lords, watches it. The mages here are all supreme, so be careful, and one thing must not be discovered by her: that he regressed. Then Crash asks his companion about a certain shop, the famous kind known only to those who know. Her master only eats food from there. A bright-haired maid catches his eye. That's her, Lilina, maid of Aslan of the Icarit family, and she hasn't changed a bit. He says he'll come again. He's told Krim, his red-eyed raven monster, to follow the maid and bring back information soon. Eat something good while they wait. He says, Krim should be back soon. And out at the edge of a dark forest, the trail leads to a grim word left hanging in the air. Aslan has committed suicide. We open on a red-haired woman huddled in an older man's lap, tears on her face, pleading, Mr. Crow, what should I do? She's talking about Lord Aslan, about a rope, and about a man who's decided there's no meaning in living anymore. Then we hear how bad it is. The week before last it was poison. Last week he hanged himself. He barely eats, and at this rate he might really die. Someone's been quietly feeding him just to keep him alive. A winged newcomer notes Aslan wasn't a weak person before, and a man introduces himself. My name is Crash, offering to help, asking that someone check on the master again. A horned man in a cape confronts a maid whose wrists are bound, and she snaps. What could you possibly understand? He says it only reached his ears by chance, and he thought he could help. Then he lays it out. Aslan lost the will to live after Dorothy, a Magic Academy student, disappeared. He keeps pulling the thread. Something about Dorothy's true identity doesn't add up. Why work this hard to hide a normal girl going missing? Because of it, he says. World erosion in the Forbidden Zones keeps spreading, and erosion and its species are always tied together. A woman in a white dress runs up the stone path after him, wanting answers. A blonde maid opens up. Every day she travels to a distant restaurant for her master, and even alone she worries about him. Lord Aslan once saved her, and to repay that debt she wants to help. She doesn't want to lose him too. She's sure Crash can save him. Crash makes a promise no matter what. He'll bring Dorothy back from the Spirit Forest. He has to enter it to stop the Spirit King's forest that keeps trying to consume the territory. And he sets a plain condition: please let me meet Lord Aslan in a few days. At the forest's edge they're stopped. No unauthorized people may enter. But Crash has cover. The main house is watching him, so he had to say he'd joined the Blue Sea Knights, and an officer who contacted them confirms it an investigation, with a combat member alongside. Two figures in blue auras walk in past the gate. Deeper in, the spirit light feels unusually dense. Someone's been acting strange, and a warning goes out. Crash, please be careful. Let's go back. Then it appears a grinning, glowing-eyed monster rising from murky water, a hand reaching from behind it. The words spell it out: the spirit of chaos, forbidden, abandoned. It lost its reason, only aggression remains. A great canine monster charges mid, leap through the foliage. One of them admits they have no combat skills and says to run, but Crash says there's no need. His attacks are the most offensive kind here, and he was the one who defeated the spirit of chaos in a previous life. He draws a large curved sword and moves. Skill compatibility played a part, though the spirit was weaker than expected. He's sure, I can defeat it. As he charges in, blue lit and wrapped in his aura, the monster unleashes a wave of energy while a woman in purple, red light dodges the debris. Crash cuts in, certain the forest can be purified. Then the fight turns into a farewell. Crash cups a dark red orb in his hands, surrounded by purple energy, and calls it the Crimson Garden, his final goodbye. He doesn't need to destroy it anymore. He admits he wanted to talk with Agni one more time. Agni was always waiting. And Crash came. He holds the spirit as it fades, a green-skinned figure with red hair, embracing him amid glowing particles, and he apologizes. For a farewell like this, you should have had someone's support, and he's sorry he didn't realize it. He should have looked after Agni. Behind them, a red-haired woman holds a green-haired girl, both smiling, while a man in white robes watches. I'm truly sorry. Back at the mansion, the plans continue. Crash will get an artifact that bypasses the mansion's defensive magic, and they still need to locate Dorothy with the cooperation of Luna and Lord Aslan. There's talk about Mr. Crow losing weight and whether to stop feeding him, and Lilina is told to visit Lord Aslan's room after everyone's asleep. Then Aslan himself, broken and wide-eyed, is asked the question that changes everything. "Do you want to see Dorothy?" "Of course," he says, "I'll do anything." But the red-eyed raven lays out the real bargain. Aslan swears he'll bring Dorothy back to life and promises to burn himself in the spirit forest in a few days. In exchange, the devil wants one thing: "Give me your moonshadow body, then let's make a deal." A purple glowing object floats over the auburn-haired young man, and the offer is blunt. "I'll bring Dorothy back to life. Give me your moonshadow body and promise to burn yourself in the spirit forest in a few days." The one making that deal is a devil. He pushes back. "You want my moonshadow body, knowing what it is? A body that can only fight when yin energy is full, cursed for the Ygritte family, who live by flame magic. Aren't these terms too favorable for me? Aren't you curious how I'll bring Dorothy back? My name is Crash. That should explain enough. The moon shadow body is the perfect material to break my limits," and he takes the young man by the hand. "Can you explain in detail?" "Because of the moon's yin energy. Aslan couldn't use flame magic, even though he was born into the famous flame magic Ygritte family. Energy crackles where their hands join. His name is Aslan Ygritte. Here's what the family did to him. Unloved, he was removed as a successor candidate. Let the Ygritte family and the Red Magic Tower collapse, they say. The acting family head, Agatha, raises a hand to stop a caped man. There's a girl in the tower with talent in flame magic named Abella. Then we'll adopt that girl. So the pressure falls on the boy. Then grandfather will scold me again, he says. I'll work harder on my training. His mother is cold. If only he were even half as good as Abella, useless. Work harder. Then it turns brutal. Aslan lies face down, clutching a blue flask. Do it risking your life to survive. His own father was killed by his grandfather, and from that day Agatha tormented her beloved son as if she'd become someone else. Flames erupt from a pile of dark logs. He burned away the moon shadow body along with his own body for revenge on the Flame King who stole what was precious to him. Aslan left the family and became a flame emperor, surpassing his grandfather. Back in the room, purple energy crackles around Crash. Even the larve family that manages the forest can't recover it. So, should I just give it to you? No. I'll take it when Aslan is truly ready to give it away. He wanted to overcome it himself. But he burned even his lifespan and died at only 24 before regression. Aslan tried to erase the moon shadow body. Did you let him go because he's an old friend? We can't use the other class like Arthur did. It's too risky. Even before regression, Aslan had ability. But this time is different. Take Lord Aslan's true feelings to heart. You two are each other's only friends. And the moon shadow body is the key to overcoming the flame erosion, a chance to kill two birds with one stone, with your curse stealing skill. All right, it's a promise, Lord Crash. If I keep the old promise too, it's 3 birds with 1 stone. Outside, a man in red raises his hand, wrapped in orange energy, as a woman reaches toward him. Father, please calm down. At this rate, Aslan will die. You were going to make Abella the successor anyway, weren't you? You took everything from me. But now you finally looked at me. Aslan yells, a huge sphere of orange fire building before him. I can't let it end like this. If I'm going to die anyway, I'll disgrace the family name. He grins wide and sinister in the fire. You bastard. I'll kill you. I see then, Aslan. A woman in a hooded cloak runs off, blurred by her own speed. In my pocket are the letter Lord Crash gave me, and Dorothy's crystal, Lilina. I never expected the family head himself to return. place the item into the spirit powder within the lake. Will Lord Crash be all right? We only needed to lure out the acting family head to steal Dorothy's crystal. Take it right now. Crash screams as he falls through streaks of light. A dark-haired man unleashes energy from his hands as a red-haired woman grips a golden chain fixed to a large hook. Crash suddenly became stronger. A monstrous one-eyed figure reels back as something explodes. You, who exactly are you? And Crash stands in swirling blue energy, a golden ring on his finger. Calm. I am Aslan's friend. A red-haired man stands in a storm of swirling debris, raising his hands as blue energy projectiles tear off him. And the man facing him asks it flat out, "Who exactly are you?" The answer comes back, "I am Aslan's friend." So who is this? And why is one of the strongest men alive already this rattled? Because the bearded man in the dark robes doesn't want this fight. He points across and warns him plainly, "Go home. I have no intention of causing problems with you. I already have enough trouble. Even though he's one of the 10 strongest, he'd rather walk away." And he names what's radiating off the other. That ominous flame isn't ordinary power. It's concentrated curses. Then it cuts to a memory. A woman with long white hair and green eyes stares at a red-haired man standing in shallow water, holding a glowing object, and a voice is pleading, "Save Dorothy, hurry." This is the in front of Dorothy moment, an academy student who felt she could do nothing on her own, and we see how it started. A girl with short pale hair waving her arms, bargaining. "I want to become able to use magic. So teach me, and as payment for the lessons, I'll treat you to food from my favorite restaurant, and books too." The lessons work. A young woman with long red hair hugs herself, and around her the talk is all magic. The son of a famous magic family, someone learning wind magic, a proud that's amazing, Aslan. Then Dorothy, white hair, a sword held behind her back, and the line that ties it together, "I was able to love it again because of you, Dorothy." The magic I even hated before. She's the precious person who taught him. Which is why the next panels hit so hard. A figure swings a huge, jagged red weapon through fiery orange energy, and the words are a confession. Dorothy was the one who gave it to him, the person he loves. Then a red-haired man is held back by a woman in a brown dress. Shadowy figures closing in, light sparking off his struggling hands. A spirit tried to drag her down. "Aslan, are you all right?" But it's already too much. Indoors now, stone walls and arched windows, a woman with dark red hair faces a kneeling figure, and it lands bare. It was all Dorothy, the person he loves. So back to the present, and the grief comes out as fire. The other man steps up, spiky, haired, sword at his side over rocky ground, and calls it what it is. Not bad for someone underage. But I can't overlook this any longer. Move aside. The comment lands too. This one received the blessing, and his speed is masterclass. A huge black bird like monster looms with glowing red eyes, and the plan behind the attack surfaces. Compress the power. Hold it steady. Now I can maintain my power during battle. He grips a cylindrical object, jacket dark, a circular mark on his arm, and pushes through the pain. I can endure this much. Not yet, just a little more. Right at his body's limit, he activates something new, second form. Heavenly sword, flames erupt around him as he moves, and the only word left for it is a stunned no way. Then the payoff. The bearded red-haired man stares in shock as a large silver sword breaks straight through the magical barrier around him. He broke through my defensive magic. A dark-haired boy in black launches blue energy streaks at him, and the shout goes up, "Everyone run. They've provoked a higher spirit. It's dangerous." But there's no room to run, because a new figure arrives. Boots planted on a circle of glowing orange runes, pink symbols burning overhead, and a voice hands the fight off with a chilling calm. "How many lives will be lost if this castle falls? I'll leave it to you, Flame King Adolf Ygritte. One furious, you bastard," and the screen tips toward whatever comes next. A red, bearded man in dark armor is glaring down a younger man in blue robes who started to glow, and he's furious. He spits out that he's leaving, that many lives will collapse, something about Ygritte, the Flame King. "You little bastard, what did you just say?" That's where we open. The younger man barely reacts. Someone asks if his power really worked against one of the 10 great sovereigns, and he shrugs it off. It was nothing. Then the talk turns to Aslan, who thanks him, says he owes him one, and gets called stubborn as always. Aslan's shadow physique is gone now, so he's thinking of learning his family's fire magic again, and there's a plan for next year, Raheln Academy. Then it's time to part ways. Lelina, in her maid's outfit, tells them to get home safely. "See you later, friends," right? Someone swears they'll never forget this debt as long as they live, and thanks Lord Aslan. Off to the side, a name lands Crash. Crash is leaning back, eyes closed, hood up, a pale-haired figure beside him. He says he's just fulfilling a promise to his fiancée, and the talk turns to weapons, one that can handle fire, quenching erosion, forged where they're famous for weapon, smithing, over at the Palace of Relics. He mentions what happened before the regression and that he's already made his decision. Someone teases him about going all out and breaking his sword. So we head to the Palace of Relics. Nobody can pass the lower floors, all because of the ghost who guards them, Rakuten, and there's a legendary relic here, the Storm Star. Word spread that someone found it. A whole crew wasted a year chasing that rumor, only to find some trash calling himself the king of the palace. Now they've come to investigate, and one of them swears he's the one who'll take down Rakuten and claim the Storm Star. That king of the palace is Anik, and he blames Crash for what happened to his party. Someone yells at him to stop. He'll really die. But Anik doesn't care. With a body like that, you won't survive here. Besides, this is a lawless zone, no one's going to punish them. He tells Crash to just leave with him, that scum like this needs a lesson. Then, weirdly, comes an offer. Anik says he's reached high rank, that a commoner with skills like his could catch a faction leader's eye. He could even recommend him to the Valheim Knights, but the mockery keeps leaking through you, Greenhouse, raised brat. You can't even judge the gap in our power, and he warns Crash not to make an enemy of him if he wants to clear the lower floor. And then it turns ugly. Crash is running down a cracked, icy path while Anik's people close in from both sides. Anik draws a black iron sword, typical Valheim gear. He sneers and makes it plain, "I'm going to leave a mark on that neck that'll never fade. No matter what it takes," he says, "I'll kill him." Except Crash blocks him clean, and Anik can't believe it. Got lucky, he tells himself. But Crash corrects him that wasn't luck. He parried it perfectly. Calculated. You're not the only one with skills. Thanks to the regression, he's already got Anik's habits and techniques memorized, every attack countered before it lands. The onlookers can't understand how a kid could master this against a blunt sword. Then the noble everyone wrote off finally says who he is. "My name is Crash Valheim." He's the one who'll rewrite history. He's heading down toward Rakuten, looking for members, and says anyone is more than welcome to join him. As the purple energy swirls and a wide-eyed girl gets pulled to safety, Crash keeps moving down toward the ghost that no one's ever gotten past. A young, white-haired man stands in front of a shattered structure, half his face in shadow, grinning as he calls out to someone off panel. He's looking for comrades to reach the 8th floor, and if you want to go floor by floor and defeat fallen heaven, then you're more than welcome. He gives his name Crash Valheim. Next to him, a stout man with graying hair and a mustache throws up a peace sign in front of a big building, a white orb in his hand. He tells Crash he's worked hard his whole life but still can't break past the beginner-master wall, so what's he hesitating for? This might be his last chance. His name is Derek. They call him Rack. Then we get the history. Back in Icarus, Fendel was defeated by fallen heaven, yet he clung to the fact that he'd once reached the 8th floor and formed the Fendel Road faction. He trained every day to defeat fallen heaven, but for 5 years all they did was waste time while everyone else gave up. A girl with short gray hair looks down at the sword in her hands and swears she'll carve a path forward with this blade, no matter what stands in her way. A young man with dark hair and red eyes in a high-collared black garment looks off toward a stone wall. He recalls that before the regression she was selling fruit in the market. Yet even then, Regression was already at the beginner master level. Someone asks Crash if he's waiting for somebody. That, he says, is exactly what he's waiting for. Then the ask comes, "Lord Crash, may I join you in challenging the 8th floor?" Crash talks about unlocking a second condition and how unlocking all of them is just a matter of time. The condition gets spelled out flat, make Fendel think you're more than a rival. Nearby, a scarred young man holds a large black creature close, looking down sadly. A startled young woman clutches her chest. Regression asks how he even knows her name, and why challenge the 8th floor again, when both Fendel and the rest were just cowards beaten by fallen heaven. Crash gives the one straight answer in the whole pitch, because he wants to change who he is. That works for him. Welcome aboard, Regression. Now Crash lays out the plan. The real challenge lies underground. The palace is built in a very unique structure, every level filled with traps, and it'll take about a month to reach the 9th floor. A blonde woman with a glowing green staff and rack. Listen as Crash promises his team will get them through it safely. Crash folds his arms, 2 swords crossed on his back, and says it plain, "I'm Crash Valheim. Let's make it to the 8th floor together." Regression answers that she'll handle healing and ranged attacks, and that she's honored to fight alongside them. The Fendel Road faction has started moving. But they're not the only ones. A rival faction faces down a crowd under a red orb in the sky and swears the ones who'll defeat fallen heaven are them. They're not letting that brat beat them to it. People don't change that easily, one of them scoffs. Down below, Crash tells the group this floor is home to monsters called clock rabbits, and beyond here is the first underground level. He turns to his recruit Regression. "Show me what you can do." She takes a defensive stance with a long green gemmed pole weapon, and Rack watches. Compared to Fendel's tricky style, her fighting is straightforward. Not bad. Her movements are clean, no waste. Then a favor gets asked back. Crash says he's aiming for beginner master and asks whether until they reach the 8th floor, she'll spar with him every day so he can learn the foundation a normal person builds. With eyes like that, she says, "How could I say no?" Rack grumbles that he's impossible for agreeing on the spot. Crash just says thanks, let's keep moving, no aura, just pure swordsmanship so they can serve their strength. Crash stands with his arms crossed, his new crew at his back, a woman, a middle-aged man, and a younger boy. Let's go. And the last thing we see is a red-haired woman in a dynamic stance, a white cloth around her head, swinging a blue staff through swirling energy, the fight waiting for them. A month and a half into the release zone, one of them mutters what everyone's thinking, "I guess we don't even have a part to play here." They watch Crash and the others, wondering what kind of standing those two have to matter this much. Regression especially. Someone admits Lacra was strong enough to clear this himself. Then Crash lays it out plainly. He's willing to throw away his pride, so he's going to steal everything. One of the students asks why he wants to become so strong, because staying by Crash's side, maybe he can reach higher heights himself. Crash calls him a dedicated student, and the kid marvels to think a swordsman is this open about stealing from others. Crash's answer is simple, whatever it takes. Someone teases him for the childish side, but Crash's eyes are dead serious. "I'll follow your example and your goals too," one of them says. Then the mood breaks. Crash says it flat out. His goal is the destruction of the world. Someone laughs, sure it's a joke, and then stops. Wait, this isn't a joke. The eyes staring back belong to someone who truly believes it. Now the blonde guide steps up to lead them on. From here, he warns, it's the mechanical maze, and escaping depends entirely on luck or on observation. Traps and mechanical monsters lie in wait, and the walls rebuild themselves, making it easy to lose your sense of direction. But don't worry, as they're elite, he'll guide them through. He explains the trick of it. Whoever built this place made people believe ditching the guide was natural. Natural to use the maze's mechanics when you can't win a fair fight. That's the Fendel Lord faction's play. The group got split the moment they entered, exactly as designed. So he narrowed it to one guide, and he'll use his own ability to find the exit, right after asking if someone minds carrying him. And his ability is uncanny. The others can't believe it. Just how much talent is he hiding, even more accurate than Derek. Turn right here, he calls, then a left further on, reading the way out through walls that won't hold still. But mid-direction someone cuts in. The walls are turning red. Stop, Lacra. Because now the walls themselves are the threat. The walls of the Palace of Relics can't be cut. Not even by an aura blade, and chunks of stone keep crumbling off, another and another, no matter what. Something's breaking through, and they name it the Weapon Queen of the Torah tribe, a world eroder. Someone spits it out. Why is that weapon, obsessed freak here in the Palace of Relics? The order goes out, erase your presence as much as possible. The real problem is scale. Some of these eroders are stronger than even the 10 great sovereigns, and the Weapon Queen isn't someone you can talk sense into. They weigh it. Give up on Stormstar? No. This is their only chance. The plan hardens eliminate every single eroder, one by one, and don't let her lay a finger on what they came for. But while all eyes are on the Queen, the betrayal lands. Soldriek, Vice, leader of the Fendel Lord faction, reports it cold as planned. He's separated the Wilhelm heir. He doesn't care if people call them cowards. This was all to keep their leader's efforts from going to waste. Their dream of conquering the Palace of Relics isn't over. Then the past spills out. Their leader Chiron was killed by Rakuten, and Lacra Dion has stared blankly at a wall ever since that cruel day. But if they inherit Chiron's dream, if the challengers join forces, they can overcome even a wall like Rakuten. The time has come. A blade swings, someone charges through, they'll take Rakuten down with their own hands. Then the red energy tears open, a monster claws its way out, and there's time for only one last scream. Run, everyone. This is impossible. His whole body is screaming at him that he's in danger and he can't move. A dark-haired fighter is mid. Transformation, eyes glowing red, fangs pushing out as he loses the battle with whatever's changing him, and another figure just stands there and watches it happen. Beside him, it's chaos. A gray-haired swordsman swings a huge blade at a monster covered in thick fur and claws, energy bursting off the impact, and shouts for everyone to run. His companions try to escape first, and the voice above them almost approves. At least their instincts are good. The one giving orders is Malfarga. He created shadow clones for one purpose: to deal with weaklings, and he says there's no weapon more efficient than that technique. You can't escape the shadow clones, he tells them. Your companions are probably all dead by now. He's a red-haired figure with a sinister grin, surrounded by fiery energy, already sure he's won. The attacks keep coming. A white-haired fighter gets hit by blue energy from a huge thunderwolf wreathed in crackling electricity, throwing everything into one strike, because if he doesn't put the monster down now, he won't have the strength left. Somewhere in the blood and red energy, someone realizes the truth of an enemy's sword. So that's its ability. It can block the senses of everyone around it. Then the mood flips. A wild-haired figure with fangs and pointed ears grins like a maniac and holds a sword up high, mocking the whole thing. He's already told them their companions are beyond saving. So does it end here? You're the captain? He sneers. Why fight this hard for people who are already gone? A black-cloaked killer in a mask leaps in with two curved blades. A spiky-haired fighter recoils, clutching his side, and the words snap out, "You're embarrassing, Fendel, go somewhere else." And still the enemy is confused. He wondered which idiot would come challenge him alone. He wanted to avoid a clash, but even a flame draw technique enhanced by the sword barely damaged him. Why isn't the damage reflection working? By the way, what did you do to me? That's when the mask slips. Give up already, the enemy says. Rain Thunderstar is mine. But wait, If you can do that, doesn't that mean you're an eroder? An eroder was impersonating a Valheim this whole time. Who are you really? Someone whose weapon I stole, comes the answer. I completely fooled you, armed Princess Shuadelphia. A red-haired woman with cat ears screams at the swordsman as blue energy swirls around him, and he tells her she's noisy for a cat. The fight rolls on. A red-haired attacker swings a double-bladed axe, sparks flying, and the enemy can't figure him out. Why can he dodge every attack as if he already knows the weapons? Why isn't he using the full power of erosion? There's only one door left now, she thinks, dodging fiery projectiles near a large wooden door. So the stalling ends here. Except the stalling was the point. All around, the tiled floor is engulfed in orange flame, and the floor doesn't regenerate once it's burned by Ignis. The last door is now sealed behind him. The reason he kept dodging every attack was to buy time until the carriage burned down. You tricked me, the enemy snarls. How dare you? Now Crash lets loose. His instincts had been telling him to run, but something feels different from before. On a rooftop wreathed in flame, a huge red symbol behind him, he kicks forward with his sword and calls it Extinguishing Flame Greatsword, Second Form, different from everything he showed before. A dark-haired woman gets thrown far back, startled amid the debris, flames and a chain trailing her. She might kill him next time they meet. He challenged this, knowing the risks. He lets out one long breath. Phew. Then a massive explosion of orange fire swallows the room. He deals with the armed princess, and someone tells him to go see for himself what happened to Rakradion. The clones only vanished when Crash defeated the main body. And in that same moment, Fendel was struck by a clone's fireball. A brown-haired girl's eyes blow wide, distressed, as the pieces land. Fendel tried to save them. But Fendel is already gone. A white-haired survivor stands disheveled in swirling gray particles, something metallic in his hands. Even in this life, Fendel kept getting in their way, so they'd thought he was the same as before Regression. But the grief reaches all the way back into a life they already lived, and gathered indoors. A whole group of young people turns toward it, faces caught somewhere between shock and disbelief as everything sinks in. A young woman jerks her head upward, startled by something moving above her. Beside her, a young man with messy dark hair clenches his fists, staring off at something none of us can see yet. He talks about how they survived deadly situations together, side by side, and how, this time, one of them wanted to save someone for once. Their leader tells him not to push himself. Every time they come back around, he says, the only one who still remembers keeps increasing, and something about this doesn't sit right with him. A woman with a scarf turns a large dark sword over in her hands and lays it out plainly. If Crash hadn't defeated that monster, the rest of them would have been wiped out too. She's counting on him to defeat Fallen Heaven. She says she'll accept it properly, and she hands over her weapon. A man in a gray suit stands with his head lowered, admitting he let his own prejudice decide who Crash was without even thinking it through. Then a blonde man wrapped in swirling energy remembers a version of himself. An Arthur who regretted the same things over and over, who kept repeating the same mistakes. That's exactly why he decided to be different this time. But the real problem walks in laughing. A scarred man lays out the stakes. Even if Crash keeps growing stronger by stealing skills, that alone doesn't guarantee he can save anything. The plan is simple and enormous. All of them together are going to defeat Fallen Heaven and reach the 9th floor. And Crash refuses to stay trapped by memories from before the regression. Then Fendel steps in, white hair, dark robes, an ornate naginata in his grip, a man they call the ghost of the Demon Prosperity Palace. He explains what makes Fallen Heaven so hard to kill. Fallen Heaven crumbled the moment he fell from the carriage, and there's no escape door leading out. He questioned the survivors himself, gathering everything he could about the enemy and the ground they're standing on. It comes down to one weakness. If Fallen Heaven is separated from the Demon Prosperity Palace, he can't use his power. He becomes nothing but an empty shell. So Rakradion makes the call. He tells them all to go up ahead and leave this place to him. Please defeat fallen heaven, Lord Crash, he says, and promises he already has a plan for it. Then the team stops holding back. A pair of white-gloved hands swings a huge ornate hammer through a spray of sparks. Let's burn it spectacularly. A man with spiky orange hair drives forward with a sword wrapped entirely in flame, and someone mentions the Sword Saint and how breathtaking it would be if the rain fell into him. Because that's the weapon that changes everything, Rain Thunderstar. It pours the wielder's own aura straight onto the blade, and it's called the strongest sword there is, one that can cut through anything. Against a monster who shrugs off ordinary hits, that's the strike his regeneration has no answer for. A woman with short brown hair clashes into the shadowy white-haired figure, and their weapons meet in a burst of light. A weathered man in tattered robes raises his hands to summon more energy. He tells Rakradion he's surprised he can still stand at all, that he must have some life force left, then asks if he wants to keep fighting like this. The answer comes back no. For his final moments, he says, he wants to fight as a swordsman, not as a monster. His lifespan already ended, his era ended long ago, but he'll stake everything on this one battle, and that's exactly what he wants. Under a rising golden sun split by a wall of crackling lightning, a hooded man clashes swords with a masked figure, energy trailing off both blades. Then a gray-haired woman's head snaps around, sweat on her brow. That light, she realizes, is Fendel's skill, and she can tell by instinct what's coming. If I take that sword, Crash says, as a dark-haired fighter surges through the shadows into his third form, 10 of their people spin at once, shock breaking across every face, at whatever the strongest thief alive is about to do.